systems project for your
Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox slipped up where they left off yesterday, losing 6-1 in New York after their Saturday night game with the Yankees was rained out. Justin Slayton took the loss in relief, giving up 4 runs in the 8th when Cody Bellinger and Jazz Chisholm went yard for the Bronx Bombers. The Sox dropped to 27-36 overall and opened a 3-game set in Tampa tonight. Connolly early towing the slab against Ian Seymour. First pitch is 6:40 from the Trop. The Patriots, meanwhile, open their 3-day mandatory minicamp tomorrow at 1:30. Mike Vrabel is scheduled to meet with reporters before practice every day. ESPN's Mike Reese reporting, quote, "It would be a surprise," end quote, if Christian Gonzalez and Keishon Boutte are not in attendance. Both players were missing recently from OTAs. The NBA Finals resume tonight in New York with Game 3 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks hold a 2-0 lead over the Spurs. We're trying to become the first team in NBA history to complete a finals comeback after losing their first 2 games at home. Finally, the World Cup has finally arrived. Mexico and South Africa will open the tournament at 3 p.m. Thursday in Mexico City, while the U.S. national team kicks off against Paraguay on Friday night at 9 o'clock in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. This hour, Touch on Hardy, brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing. Right now, during their Beat the Summer promotion, Sports Hub listeners get 10% off the cost of a new roof. This offer ends July 6th. Call East Coast Metal Roofing and never replace your roof again. 844-611-ECMR or eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm Andrew Callahan for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next update coming in about 30 minutes.
You're actually coaching the game, or it's just that is.
I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
Yes, I finally shaved my nuts.
and Hardy
Who, me?
Just hanging around.
on 98.5.
Fingerman, heard about you.
Yeah.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
That's gross.
Not a great cook, but I do cook.
When I asked him about the sides,
Kick them in the balls.
I don't care about it, but it's not good behavior.
Blaze Bailey is omitted.
Toucher and Hardy
We're the best friends that can be, my buddy and me.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Brutality.
Well. Good morning. This is the Toucher and Hardy program. You already heard the beautiful sounds of Andrew Callahan on headlines. And Callahan, you make it sound natural. It's effortless. It's effortless now. I remember the first time you did headlines. There was a little bit of stress involved. You're asking a bunch of questions. What do I do? How long should it be? And when should I start working on it? I wouldn't say you were frazzled. You were just concerned. Just wanted to get it right. You were a rule follower the first time you did it, and now I think it's more of yours. You put your own personality in it. You got some comfort.
Was it the Paraguay? Was that the comfort
Yeah.
hotel?
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned it. Andrew Callahan's here. I'm Michael Holly. And for the guys are doing a great thing today. It is the Who's Your Caddy Classic. Do it every year, but this year it's at Brook Meadow Country Club in Canton. All proceeds benefit the Special Olympics of Massachusetts. So that is a cool thing. And we will have a special guest, a special golf guest. We don't even know who it is. We'll have a special golf guest, Andrew, later in the show.
I mean, we need updates from the tournament.
Yes, we do.
And frankly, I don't.
We got an insider. We got somebody who may be on the course.
I don't care about the scores.
You don't?
No, I want to know who's drinking first. I want to know what they're wearing.
Right.
I mean, if someone's having a particularly bad round, or let's say Wallach is having the best round out of everyone by far, which is naturally going to annoy, I think, Hardy and Fred. Does Fred play, by the way?
Well, he's going to have to.
He's going to have to today. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, at least you have to do something. If this is like, who's your caddy classic? Of course he has to play because part of it is you got to be in this foursome.
Sure.
You got to be in a foursome. Oh, look, there's my alarm going off. Okay. You got to be in a foursome. And so it is Hardy, it's Toucher, and it's Wallach and somebody else.
Hope it's our special guest then.
So I'm saying, like, what that's you pay for that. You pay for the opportunity to be the fourth with all the shows.
What would you want to know? Like, you can't be the fly on the wall of a whole golf course, but you get to buzz around, take some notes, and you get the report back. Like, what are you most curious about what's going on down there today? Because obviously it's also the whole 98.5 staff.
Gossip.
Yeah?
I want gossip. I mean, look, I want the same thing that fans want. So when I don't know if this happens to you, because people do, I'm sure, all the time. You have a very distinct look. So when people are walking by and going to the grocery store or whatever, they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, aren't you? You're Andrew Callahan, aren't you? Right?" So they recognize you and they want to know. So for me, most people wanted the number one question I get, number one by far. What's Felger really like? That is the number one question. It's either, so the top two are, hey, what's it like working with Felger? And I say, what do you want me to do? Rip him? Like, what do you think I'm going to say? It sucks? No, it's great. It is. It's good. It's really good. So what's Felger like? One. And then the second thing is not really a question. It's more a statement. It's a declaration. Hey, you tell Felger that I said fill in the blank. So, hey, get off Pasternak. Would you stop with this? Why do you do this on the show? Like, so it is. Those are the top two things. But basically, what people want to know when they meet us, they want to know about media gossip. And guess what? I do too. So that would be my one thing. I want to hear those guys talk. Hey, what's it like? Okay, what are they talking about each other? What are they talking about on the show? What's on their minds? So gossip for me. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's fair. To the Felger point, when the Patriots were in London a couple of years ago and played that horrible game against the Jaguars, I'm doing what I like to do at new stadiums, which is, inactives come out. There's like 80, 90 minutes left before kickoff. I will do a lap around the stadium, like in the concourse, get a feel for the energy, see what the fans are like. And I'm walking around overseas, dressed up, but not that much, but like bald guy with a beard, glasses. There are a lot of us around. Here in the distance, tell Felger he sucks. I'm like whirring around. It's not an English accent, clearly directed at me. I remember tweeting about this, and I'm sure from that day, just because of how badly the Patriots lost, it was the most interactive tweet that I had in some time. I get like security guard coming out of the garden when I was filling in, covering the Celtics for us. It was like, keep giving it to him on BST. Like, good job. And it's just so funny. But the other part is, it's also like, which do you like doing better, is the radio or TV? I'm like, man, if I'm behind a microphone, I'm like, come on, that's right. What it is. But to the gossip point, I don't think people realize like how much that's all any of us do. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
There's no one whose hands are clean in this, and not a gossipy sense of like backstabbing and this and that. But what do we do when we go out? When you're out with other sports writers who are friends,
talk about the industry,
Boom.
talk about the business. Hey, what's going on?
How much does your wife like that?
What do you hear? Oh, how much does she like it?
Yeah. You go out to
No, she doesn't. No,
same.
No, stop.
Same. She's
Stop.
like, I'm gonna hang in today.
Come on.
Yeah. Who are you going out with?
Are we doing this again?
Yeah.
Are you doing this? Could you stop, please? No gossip. Now, off the top though, when you said your pronunciation of the U.S. is playing who?
Paraguay.
Who is that?
Paraguay.
So you were saying, how did you say it again?
How many more times?
What?
Is this a drinking game that Beaton cooked up? And I don't know. How many times can we get?
I felt like.
Paraguay.
Okay. I said, my geography, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with geography. I have no idea where that is. What did he just say? What is that?
I'll give you a minute.
Okay, and so that's what it is. Is that the official pronunciation, or are you just You're trying something
Well, if
out.
you've ever been to Paraguay.
Yeah, I have not. You're workshopping something today, or that's what all the locals say.
No, I just try to do it honestly, meaning this always struck me as strange. If you go to Germany, you'll ask people who live there, like, where are we? And they would tell you in their native tongue, Deutschland. They decide what the name of their own country is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's right.
Okay. You go to Spain, you say, my name is Michael.
Yeah.
You should be called Michael,
right.
even though some people will say Miguel. Right. Yeah. This should be the United States. It should be España. It should be Deutschland. That's the name of their country. They chose it.
Yeah.
Call them by their name. But we and everyone does this, translates it, even though, like, okay, United States, those are two actual literal words. It's not just a name. But, you know, I'm not turning around the Congo to something like,
right.
It's Congo. That's what they call.
Now, I want to
call themselves.
We're not the United States. We're Estados Unidos. That's right. Estados Unidos in the World Cup. Okay?
Fifi.
Now, do you? So it's a good point. It's a good point. All right. You go by what do the locals say, right?
Yeah.
Which brings me to this. Do you ever hear anybody call Boston Beantown here?
No.
Never. Right? I've never heard anyone refer to Boston as Beantown in Boston or from Boston.
No, the only thing is Beantown Pub, which I actually like downtown.
Yeah.
Do you know the origin of that name?
What, Beantown?
Yeah.
Well, I would guess it would go back years with it's big industry. It's a big product, right? This is
what, beans?
Beans, yes.
This is me chumming the waters for 65-year-old callers to come in and like.
No, of course.
The history teacher's getting ready for the last days of school. Just heard me do this. And they're like, oh, okay.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'd be shocked.
Really?
Yes, it's self-explanatory. It's big Boston baked beans, right? This is where you can get a lot of beans. That's it. There's no cool story. Am I wrong on this? Are you finding a cool story?
There's a Boston Magazine has like a whole spread article on this. I'm sorry, this is my 2026 attention span. Granted, we're doing live radio. I don't really. There's a picture of baked beans, so I'm inclined to confirm what you have.
Of course.
I don't want to read the 1,000-word think piece.
Right?
On
No, of course you don't. You don't want to read a 1,000-word think piece on it, and you.
Okay, yeah, Boston baked beans. Okay,
and you don't, and you never want to call it Beantown.
No.
But your pronunciation really got my attention on the World Cup. And speaking of, my wife said to me the other day, is it just me, or is Boston not as into the World Cup as other places? And I said, you might be on to something. I mean, there's been a lot of all the things that we've heard about the World Cup so far have been about some of the problems, and then. Will Foxborough do this? Will this happen? I mean, going back and forth. That's one. I mean, that's just anecdotal. Well, that's like anecdotal evidence. But the other thing is, I think I saw that Boston there have been more. The soccer knowledge and the soccer passion here for the World Cup is not as up to speed as some other cities in the country.
I don't even know. Aside from maybe the Seattles and Portlands of the world, where you see the MLS really take hold, and those are their franchises, especially Portland, right? Like they have the Blazers and nothing else sports-wise going on, where soccer is super hot. You know what I mean? Like grassroots here, hockey's a big deal. Obviously, it's been a Patriots region for 25 years.
Yeah.
So like soccer is bumped down further the list than I think you will find in most places. But to that point, I feel what your wife is talking about. Like I had this circled on my calendar for years. I was like, oh, maybe I'll pitch in for the Herald. And this and that.
Same
I know
thing.
It's my vacation. It's coming to Gillette Stadium. I go there for work anyway.
I thought I would be. I mean, when I heard, okay, World Cup, United States, 2026. So I'm thinking, in 2022, I'm like, oh, damn it. I know it. Oh, I'm going to be involved. I got to get tickets. I want to be there. World Cup final in New York. Oh, this is going to be incredible.
It's bucket list.
Got to have it. Got to do it. And now here we are, 2026. And I'm like, oh. And I heard you say it again.
Paraguay. This is gonna be all show.
When I heard you say that, I said, "Oh, that's right. The World Cup is here. The World Cup is starting." And I'm not one of those guys. I'm not that guy. At least, or I don't think I am. Maybe I am. I'm not the guy who says, "Oh, it doesn't. I need a game where more goals are scored. It's not really. I'm not into. I'm not that. I love hearing about soccer. I love soccer people. But I'm not. I need to feel my skin. I'm not tingling. I'm not on fire for soccer. I thought I would be, Andrew.
I'm gonna give myself a couple more days because I think that the tingle's starting a little bit. Because here's the deal.
What
for
if
me.
we win? Maybe if. What do you call that country? You call it the United States?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I call it. Yeah,
Okay,
I think
you
you
call
said
it
Estados Unidos.
Estados Unidos.
So a couple more days because I think it's one of these things that once it arrives, you can't like talk yourself into it. We're distracted with the finals. Like, what's wrong with the Red Sox again and again? We got, Who's Your Caddy Classic here today.
Who's Your Caddy Classic?
But
and a special guest.
There's just something about, regardless of the state of the world or state of your life, the kind of national pride that's going to kick in Friday at 9 if you tune in. Because you're just going to hear the sounds and the chants and I believe. Do they probably still do that?
Of course.
Because for me, I only tune into soccer when it is.
I believe we will win. We don't switch it up.
International stage. Like, right. I'm all into the World Cup. I will watch the Euro Cup. I will watch Copa America. I couldn't tell you anything else about actually going on in the Premier League or La Liga or all these different places. But give me a country to root for because I've been there and that's where my family's from. Like, oh, yeah. I'll wake up and tell my wife, we got Haiti, Scotland today, baby. That's on the schedule. Like, I got the baby. I'm going to sit. We're going to watch some Haiti, Scotland.
And see, you just
don't worry about it.
So you didn't say any special pronunciations there.
Scotland.
It was just Scotland. It was just Scotland and Haiti. I do have a reason. I have a family friend, seriously, a family friend who is on the team, who is on the U.S. men's national team. Straight up.
Whoa.
So my friend, a longtime friend, I've known him for about 30 years, a guy named Jeff Robinson. He's a musician, great musician and actor. So Jeff Robinson, years ago, and this was I was a sports writer at the Globe. His son was like 2 or 3 years old. Jeff was saying, "Hey man, one day you're gonna be writing about my son." I was like, Jeff, if I could tell you how many people say that to me, like, oh yeah, your son's gonna be a pro athlete. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It goes like this. What's Felger like? By the way, check out my son.
Check out my son.
TikTok.
He's great. So, what sport does he play? Oh, he's soccer. He's unbelievable. Yeah, okay. 5 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old. Hey, man, my son is going to be incredible. So fast forward to, it must have been, 8 years ago, maybe even longer, 8 or 9 years ago. He said, I need you to give me some advice on my son. Should he go back to Syracuse or should he go to the MLS draft? I said, well, what are they telling him about the draft? Oh, he's going to be drafted in the top 5. I said, oh, okay. Maybe he should go to the draft. Miles Robinson.
I just pulled him up.
Miles Robinson. He was the second pick in the MLS draft. He's from Arlington, and he's on the U.S. men's national team. So, damn it, if I can't get excited about the World Cup at large, if I can't get excited about, say it again.
Paraguay.
All right. I can get excited about Miles Robinson, family friend, a great defender. I've seen him play. Seen him play up close. He's a champion. He's won the championship. When he was with Atlanta United, they won the the MLS Cup. So maybe that's my read. That's root for Miles.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And of course, his name is Miles. His dad's a musician.
Have you kept in touch
with Miles or his dad?
Both.
Now with Miles, I mean, I'm friends with his dad, so I kind of through his dad I hear all this stuff. I mean, it's not like I'm friends with his father.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so when we were kicking around guests this weekend over Slack, didn't cross your mind that we might want to talk to a member of the U.S. men's national team preparing to play Paraguay?
Well, not
Friday.
Well, not yet. Maybe when they advance to like the semifinals, like this amazing run on home soil.
Yeah.
When the national team is in position to do something that hasn't been done in our lifetime, then maybe we'll have him on the show.
Yeah.
But today on the show, we're going to have a special guest from the Who's Your Daddy Classic. That's where the guys are now. We are providing we're providing cover for them today. And you know what? And I'm not offended. You know, you're a backup today. I'm a backup today. And it's all right. Right?
We're having a good time.
You're having a good time. You can join in the conversation as well. 617-779-0985. Michael Holly, Andrew Callahan. We're going to talk about what happened last night next.
Toucher and Hardy. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, welcome back to the show. Michael Holley here with Andrew Callahan in for the guys. It is time for What Happened Last Night. It's brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened.
It does, though.
I'm looking at you, Andrew, and I'm looking at myself. Oh, yeah. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. All right, Andrew, what happened?
All right, the Red Sox suddenly feel as hopeless as our hair situation is without Dr. Lepresti. If we wanted to pay a visit, I'm sure we could change that. But right now, it's hard to change anything about the Sox. Mentioned in the update, they are now 27-36. But if you really are the optimist, there were things to take away from yesterday in the Bronx, where they they win Friday night, they get rained out Saturday, and they lose yesterday. And it was mostly because this was a 1-1 game in the 8th inning. And it starts with, of course, the only offense provided by the only guy who's provided offense all season, Wilson Contreras.
1-0 Yankees. Runner goes. Swinging a shot out to left field. Backing up Bellinger. Back it up. Turning around. It's off the wall. Seance hitting into third. Throw to the cutoff man. Down the throw home. It's a fly. And the Red Sox tie the game.
So the beauty of that play, is the Red Sox scored a run.
Yeah, exactly. You can hear Dave O'Brien. Oh, wait a minute. He's going to score.
But
like it's soccer.
The ugly underbelly of it is Rafaela steals second. I don't think he was aware the ball had been hit because he stopped and then speeds around and was beaten home by the throw, which when Dave O'Brien says offline, that's vital to the call because had that been online,
he would have been
out by a mile, which we have seen. Nonetheless, Wilson Contreras, anytime you and I do TV and we're talking about Red Sox, it's just like I'm treating Breslow like a piñata because I just think he deserves it. But I have, if we're in the spirit of fairness, the Wilson Contreras deal, I just think, imagine where they would be without him right now.
No, it was a good signing. It was a good pickup for, not signing. I think they traded for him.
Yep.
So it was a good trade for the Red Sox, Contreras. Yes, he's producing, and he's a guy throughout his career. I mean, he's not unfamiliar to any baseball fan. Most baseball fans know that he has some ability. It's some of the other stuff that has made him kind of bounce around a little bit. He's kind of got a reputation of temperature runs high and,
a little prickly.
Doesn't always do things that the team wants him to do. I'm fine with that. And I guess this is not Contreras' fault. I'm reading a story in the Boston Globe. I don't know if you saw this story about Contreras. This is after they won the opening game of the series, this short 2-game series. They won the opener, and Pete Abraham has a story in the Globe on Contreras, and he's saying what a good pickup he's been. And he said his numbers are better than Shohei Ohtani's and some other. I said, okay, we got to stop this. Now stop it. Don't do this. He mentioned a couple people who are clearly happy. Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani. Okay, give me Ohtani. Give me Soto over Wilson Contreras. Don't do that, and don't say that. And Contreras is helping the Red Sox make a playoff push. This is actually, I'm not making this up. This is an actual report in the Boston Globe. That just annoyed me. But anyway, go ahead.
Look, I'll tell you this, having covered you covered a lot more than I have, but the Matt Patricia offense, the ensuing 4-13 season, then ensuing 4-13 season. There are some pieces you start to write, be like, Devontae Parker's average yards per reception is top 10. I think we're talking about underrated guy. There's like a little bit of a Stockholm syndrome sometimes with the teams that you cover. And in this case, in fairness to Wilson Contreras, the numbers are the numbers. He's tied for 7th in OPS at 931. He's hitting just a tick below 300 overall. He's got 13 home runs, leads the team. Again, this is much about his surrounding cast as he's playing well. It's a good pickup. That is the end of the positivity here because in the bottom of the 8th, here comes Justin Slayton, who has pitched well against lefties all year. And this is a big deal because the top of that lineup going down from Goldschmidt to Ben Rice, both of them taken care of. Justin Slayton steps into a 1-1 game, starts to pitch to Cody Bellinger, and as we know, this did not go well.
There's a drive, sock to right, deep, back it goes, it's gone. 9th home run of the season for Bellinger. He touches the ball here to put the Yankees in front 2-1.
So the tough part with Justin Slayton, who I trust as much as you can trust a Red Sox reliever right now, especially
Right.
with Whitlock, on the shelf, and Chapman, I guess, just doesn't pitch, and then when he does, he's pulling a hammy, is he's had 13 outings. 11 of them have been scoreless. It's just when he pitches like he did yesterday, and then there was a walk and a couple of stolen bases because the Yankees know they can steal in Mickey Gasper because this is a clear trade-off of offense for defense in the Red Sox part of who they're playing at catcher now, is it goes badly. Because those other 2 outings, he's given up 4 earned runs. And it's just, it's so crippling for a team that knew it was going in with a thin margin of error. The run prevention Red Sox. And one of your best relievers gives up a shot like that.
Andrew, when it comes to relievers, just overall, it's probably the toughest part of baseball. It just from a general manager standpoint, I would imagine it's probably the toughest thing to get right. Because if you got so if you're looking at your bullpen, you got a great closer. All right, I got a great closer. And the Red Sox, I think they do. They have a very good closer in Aroldis Chapman. I wouldn't say he's great, but he's very good. Last year he was great. So you got a closer, and then what you're trying to do from the moment your starter exits to the moment you get to that closer, you're trying to come up with trustworthy guys. That is because it just changes every year. And so it's deceptive for the Red Sox. You come up with these numbers and you say, wow, that's not so bad. I mean, look at this guy. He's pretty good. Inherited run. Well, pretty good. But here's the big reveal for me. How many Red Sox relievers do you actually trust? Forget about the numbers. How many do you trust? I say 1. I trust Chapman.
And he's probably going to be dealt in 4 to 6 weeks.
He'll be traded. But I think that's every year that changes. I think building a reliable, trustworthy middle relief corps is probably the hardest job because those guys they're not always good year after year after year. Like some middle relievers come out of nowhere. You go, this guy's nasty. This guy's filthy. He's unbelievable. Then next year he's with somebody else and got an ERA of 7.25. Then, it looks like he's out of baseball. Then he comes back. And, I was experimenting with a new pitch, and now his ERA is 193, and opponents hit 174 against him. It just fluctuates so much. But when it really comes down to it for the Red Sox, how many guys do you trust? How many of those relievers do you trust when you bring them into a game and say, okay, this thing's over? They got a lead. It's over.
You'd love to say Whitlock. It's just even in his and look, you're talking about small sample, right? Variance of you pitch 1 inning. If you give up a run, your ERA is 9. It's not like a starting pitcher who throws 200 innings. You have a couple of bad days. You can even it out. You can finish the year with an ERA of 2.5, 3 if you're good. I think Whitlock is my answer though. Even when he had 10 strikes out of 21 pitches in his rehab assignment the other day. Point is, I like Slayton and Whitlock. It's just I feel like it's been a long time since the both of them, were available and in a groove because it was never, just get through 6 innings. And then you go 7, 8 Chapman because that was their path this year. But again, it was just so narrow. And look, part of the lack of trust is when you only have 3 guys you can count on. One of them right now is not Joe LaSorsa, who we played that clip. That brings it to a 2-1 game. Maybe they scratch across and run in the 9th. They needed 5 if they wanted to catch up because this was Joe LaSorsa serving one up to Jazz Chisholm.
He inherits runners at first and second. Chisholm will swing away and drive a high one into right center field. Sailing back, it is gone. A 3-run homer by Jazz Chisholm.
So that's the game. We all know it. It's the same thing when the Orioles scored 6 in the first the other day. I shut my laptop. I said, this is over. I'm not watching anymore. But I will tell you this. The hardest part about that is not like they lost a game. If there's one Yankee right now I do not want to see hit a home run against the Red Sox.
Chisholm.
It is Jazz Chisholm.
Got a lot of swag, got a lot of confidence.
And God bless him. If he was on the Red Sox, I'd be out there defending Jazz against all of the haters. He is not, so I am among the haters.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I used to, speaking of haters, I used to be a hater when they opened the new Yankee Stadium. I still haven't been there, by the way, to the new one.
Soulless.
No.
I don't like it.
Now, I was there, the Bronx and the whole, the Yankee, and all the house of Ruth and all that stuff. So I was there, like that stadium, not soulless. But I used to hate on when they opened Yankee. When did they open it? 2009? Was that the first year?
Yes. Yeah, they're
They opened in 2000, and they won a World Series.
their last World Series. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So you haven't been there in like 17 years.
I have not been to the new Yankee Stadium. Have not. It's not even new anymore. 17 years old. It's old now. This is old. But I hated on it because I was like, man, this is not real. This is just a launching pad. You just hit a fly ball anywhere, this little minor league park, and you hit a home run. But I am not hating on them anymore. Why? Because they play to it. They play to the park. They get guys who can do what the park allows you to do. And I know the Red Sox are on the road, but damn it. The Red Sox, with their 10-21 home record, part of the reason we're talking about a last-place team is because when they're at home, they can't do what their park allows them to do. You can say, yeah, Fenway Park, oh, it's a joke. It's not even 300. That's not really 300 feet to left field, whatever. Okay. Well, get some guys who can hit it 299 feet to left, high in the air. It doesn't have to be 37 feet. Hit it 34 feet in the air, off the wall. You got to double. Double.
I said this, I think, when we were doing TV last week, that there was a game that they were playing the Orioles, and Willie Abreu and Wilson Contreras went back-to-back. It was a home run and a double, and the double was off the wall. And I swear Lou Merlone sounded post-coital, listening like, oh, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Just use the monster. Oh, there it is. And just the release from that man. It was just been watching this stagnant offense of guys who can't even get the ball in the air, and there is that giant advantage staring at you. You can't win games because you can't score runs and you can't hit it off. I felt so good for Lou in that moment, who I'd probably done a couple of hits with and shows, never met in person, never spent any personal time with. I was so happy for that man who has been there for every inning of every.
Whatever gets you going.
Just whatever, man.
Whatever gets you going.
Good for you.
And you'd sound the same way too if you've been watching these Red Sox and you're like, oh, just
yeah.
How many situations have they been in this year where, okay, hey, Red Sox got something going here.
Then I'd be writing to put Wilson Contreras in the MVP race. Yeah. I'm like, look at the numbers and Shohei Soto.
Hey, bases loaded. Nobody else going to be. They're going to put a crooked number up there. Nothing.
All right. The Sox are, again, 27-36. So the ship is.
They're still in it.
You got your head.
They're hanging around.
Just above water. Playoff odds are just below 20%. This is like your head's tilted up. Your mouth is still gasping for air.
Yeah.
Chad Tracy is in a tough spot. We're like, hey, that's your reality. But if you're the captain of that ship where everyone, again, is like treading water but fast and getting tired, you can't say we're like, oh, we're screwed because you just sink faster. You have to be a little bit more optimistic. And yet listening to this sound yesterday, I didn't really love this from the manager of the Red Sox.
It's still a good baseball game. You maybe feel that way if you feel like you went out and laid an egg, but you played a really good baseball game, and they get a run in the bottom of the eighth and a couple runs in the bottom of the eighth, obviously. But no, I don't think it feels that way. You still have to, in our position, look at, like, we're going to go get on a plane, get to Tampa, and try to win a series, and look at it and say it's a good road trip against a tough AL East stretch. Like, that's how you have to look at it. So that's what we'll do.
Like, I think he's right in there, but listen, Victor Wembanyama, at the end of game 2, and he makes one of the worst blunders you will see, and he brain farts. He's 22 years old. It's not the dumb of the play, but we all saw that. The turnover, throws it to Stephon Castle, goes to Jalen Brunson, who knocks him out of bounds in the last seconds of game 2. They lose basically because of that mistake and a missed shot.
Right.
He says afterward, at 22 years old, the results matter now. I can't focus on the process. Like, this just has to be better.
Right.
Where how often do we hear it? I think this is so right 90% of the time. It's about the things you can control in the process. You do as good as you can, and the things you can't control, you let the rest go. We can't be talking as the Boston Red Sox against the Aaron Judge-less, Giancarlo Stanton-less Yankees team where Ranger Suarez outduels Cam Schlittler. That's a game you have to win,
Andrew.
And they let it go. So I don't want to hear about, it was a good baseball game. I hope everyone had a good time and went home with, memories and Cracker Jacks. Come on. You're
time.
27-36.
Good time. Good time at the ballpark. It doesn't matter. It was the experience. It doesn't matter if we won the game or not. I can tell you, I know that Chad Tracy is the son of a former major league manager. Mm-hmm. I don't remember much about Jim Tracy, to tell you the truth. I don't remember much about him, his managerial style. I don't remember much about his interviews. I know there's some great managerial rants over the years, whether it was Lee Elia Hal McRae, of course, Earl Weaver, Lasorda. Those guys had great rants. I don't think he was ever part of the great ranting managers. He doesn't sound like he was the son of a major league manager. He's a minor league guy. Chad Tracy is Mr. Minor Leagues. And it's part of a larger organizational problem. Is there anybody that you've heard from the Red Sox, whether it's in management, upper management,
Definitely not management,
or just the managerial staff? Is there anybody you want to just sit down and talk baseball with? Does anybody just want to hang out? Like, can you just talk? Do you know how to talk?
Hey, Peyton Tolley.
Can you dangle a participle? Can you go, yeah, dog? I mean, can you do anything normal? Can you just, it just all sounds AI. It's all so perfect. It's also, you used the word earlier, soulless. When you hear from anybody talking about the Red Sox.
That's why Peyton Tolley's number one with a bullet on my list. And look, the thing that has upset me about this team, and the injuries play a part, we all get that with Roman, who apparently is in a cast that's just getting bigger, like a hard cast.
Yeah.
And Crochet, this is a much different team when
shorter
you have your two best players.
He'll be on the shorter end of the IO, though. Shorter end of the IO staff, remember?
But what they always asked of this roster was for the young players like Roman and Marcelo Meyer and Tolley and Connolly Early to develop at the same time as they carried a big league club at this age, which was completely unfair with this roster construction.
Right.
And yet Peyton Tolley, in a very real, authentic, goofy way, when he balked the other night, it's just like, I guess it was good TV, or he's like cackling to himself in an authentic way. That guy needs to be as front and center for the Red Sox if you're doing PR, and he will be Tuesday night in Tampa pitching as much as possible. That's the antidote for everything you have, because how good he is and how real he sounds.
No, so those are some bright spots.
Yes.
Tolley's a bright spot. Early's a bright spot. Some of the other stuff that they're doing.
Go on.
Yeah, not much. Well, we're going to ask you to go on after this. We're going to get to more of what happened last night when Toucher and Hardy returns.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox, after losing in New York yesterday, head down to Tampa for the first of a three-game set tonight. Connolly Early towing the slab against Ian Seymour. First pitch is at 6:40 from the Trop. Tomorrow, Peyton Tolley versus Nick Martinez. And Game 3 Wednesday afternoon, a rare 1:10 game on Wednesday. TBD currently for the Red Sox, so it looks like Jake Bennett filling in for Brian Bayo versus Rays ace Drew Rasmussen. The Patriots, meanwhile, open their 3-day mandatory minicamp tomorrow, 1:30. Mike Vrabel is scheduled to meet with the media before practice every day. ESPN's Mike Reese is reporting that on the field, quote, it would be a surprise, end quote, if Christian Gonzalez and Keyshawn Boutte were not in attendance. Gonzalez and Boutte were both recently missing from OTAs. The NBA Finals resume tonight in New York with Game 3 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks hold a 2-0 lead over the Spurs and are favored by 2.5 points. San Antonio trying to become the first team in NBA history to complete a Finals comeback after losing the first two games at home. And happy anniversary to the 1986 Celtics, who clinched the NBA championship with a Game 6 win over the Houston Rockets 40 years ago today behind a Larry Bird triple-double. This half hour of Toucher and Hardy brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm Andrew Callahan for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next update coming in, 20 minutes.
It was cool.
You got to.
Ryan, that is a great choice. That is a great choice. Tribe Called Quest, first album. People's Instinctive Travels. Anyway, Andrew Callahan, we've already bashed the Red Sox. And we've bashed the Red Sox sufficiently. What else we got from last night?
Well, not much from last night because this weekend we had some Stanley Cup action.
Yes.
But really, Friday night is what had my attention because if you have been watching these NBA Finals, first of all, I have a existential fan crisis that I would like to get to at some point today to talk out with you. If you were up for therapizing me,
yes, I
liking
am.
a New York team, I would really appreciate that.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I've been thinking about Karl Anthony Towns because there are two parts of this. One of which is the self-involved through the Boston and the Celtics lens of like, okay, what does this mean for them that this guy in his 11th year has evolved into not only just a different player, a disciplined player, a good defender, someone who is now a playmaking hub offensively that has changed this run. You want to find the line between when the Knicks stopped losing and have only won since April 23rd. It's when Karl Anthony Towns was the center of their offense.
Figured it out. Yep, exactly. They were down 2-1 to Atlanta, and then they turned it around.
And
with
that,
him.
in and of itself, like we talked about Jaylen Brown making this leap in year 10. You don't see leaps in year 10. You don't see guys mature in year 11. He was a clown in giant shoes. That was Cat. Talented, but still kind of a clown.
Right.
The other part is, like the Celtics having to deal with him now as a player who, for at least 6 quarters, maybe 7 of the 8 in these NBA Finals, has been the best player on the floor and out-dueling Victor Wembanyama has me scared if I'm a Celtics fan. And this is Kat talking about his matchup with Wemby because this, to me, is the whole series.
I mean, it's great when you get to go against a great player, a player that I've spoken about countless times. That's going to be as a generational player, something we've never seen in NBA before.
Like he's beating up the best player in the world right now.
He is. He's the numbers back it up too. I mean, you can see the eye test. You don't even need the numbers to support what you are seeing, and it's obvious. I think Wembanyama is really struggling with the physicality of Towns. The positioning of Towns, like Towns is playing him in a really intelligent way. I think that game 1, Wembanyama was like 1 for 8 against Towns, turned the ball over. I think he's just really getting him out of position. He's really making him just kind of stretch a little bit or making him do some desperate things. So I got to give him credit. And it's not like, you know, Carl, you called him, kind of a little bit of a clown. Well, then that may be harsh. I mean, this guy was the first overall pick. This is a really talented player who is always, the knock on Towns is that he didn't do what he's doing right now, that he wouldn't defend. Because he's always, if you look at his shooting, he's always been a really good shooter.
Well, plus the fouls. And then some, how about this? Person who exhibits occasional clownish behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he started to. I think he started to. He turned the corner a little bit, and then they traded him because they had a nice little run. Minnesota did to the Western Conference Finals against. I think it was against the Mavericks, and it was Towns and Anthony Edwards, and they were like, hey, wait a minute, there's something here. And they moved on. And they traded. And I think about it. It's a good trade for the Knicks. You want to talk about what started the Knicks turnaround? You say it starts with Towns, but think about this trade straight up. Not quite straight up, but Towns, primary, going to New York, and Julius Randle going to Minnesota.
Yeah, it's Randle and DiVincenzo.
Now, who would do that? Who would do that now? I don't think anybody would. Like, Knicks fans look at that and say, no, we can't possibly lose Towns. But it's impressive. Are you telling me you're kind of rooting for Towns? Are you rooting for the Knicks?
Well, I just want to finish in the Celtics point first because this to me, I'm sure it sounds dramatic, right? Like how, if you're a Celtics fan worried about this guy who, look, the Knicks did come in here and beat the Celtics last year. We all watched it. We've discussed it. The talent point is obvious. Like they're on a similar level in a way. Obviously, especially with the way Brunson closes, there's no dismissing this team anymore. They're rolling through everybody. Historic playoff run currently.
13 straight. That's nuts.
But the way he has evolved and matured, it's not like we can just count on Cat screwing it up. You can't wait out the Knicks anymore in the way you could wait them out just to screw it up, and you just have to play sound enough basketball that they'll get in their own way. And I zoom out and go, okay, if he's playing heady, smart basketball, and you have this dynamic, shooting, now defending big man, right? Who's a problem? And I look at the Spurs. Wembanyama speaks for himself. Jokic in Denver. Chet in OKC. Even Cleveland. So your final 4 teams here with Mobley, you kind of need a dynamic big.
Mobley and Allen.
And Allen. Right. To space the floor, because what he's doing offensively is drawing Wemby out. And you ask the Thunder, who obviously have a Chet problem, but putting that to the side, couldn't pull Wemby out of the paint, and it forced them to shoot from the outside in a way that was like, that's not comfortable for anybody, even the best team in basketball, as we saw them for most of the season. So I just think and go, if you're the Celtics and you have to immediately go through Cat, let alone Embiid, who we know that series flipped when Embiid came back.
Right.
Then in the West, Wemby, Jokic, Chet, etc. Do they need their own dynamic center in a way that Neiman Keita was a great story, good player? Can you count on him in today's league where small ball was a fun time, but this is big ball with skill? That seems to be the modern league and how you have to win or at least be able to defend in the way that Cat defending Wemby has changed the whole finals.
It's a good question. I don't think they need a dynamic center, and I know we have Gary Washburn of the Globe coming up at 7:25. He'll be on with us 7:20. 7:25, right, Ryan? 7:25.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Gary Washburn of the Globe, I'm sure he's got some opinions on this. I don't think you necessarily need a dynamic center, Andrew. How about a center who can stay on the floor? I'm serious. One who can stay on the floor. All right. So with Nemi, I think he's still a developing player. I don't know what his ceiling is. I don't know. It's still too early. I think he made tremendous strides from the 24-25 version of Keita that we saw to 25-26. That's a pretty big jump. That's a guy from,
huge.
If we're talking 2K, we're going to NBA 2K, that's a guy going from like a 60 to a 73, 75, like just a good solid player, not a star, not even on the verge of being an all-star. Good. Can he get to an 85? Can he go from a 75 to an 85? But then the other guys, Garza, sorry, no.
64.
Less.
No, come on.
No, really, less. Like, I think there were a couple of Celtics problems. I'm going to break these guys. So Garza giving you nothing, and then you got Vucevic, who you cannot bring back. You can't bring him back. This guy, when your season was on the line, Game 7, you said, I'll give Ron Harper Jr. a chance. I'll give him minutes before I give Vucevic tonight. If I'm not mistaken, he did not play at all in Game 7, right? I don't think he touched the floor in Game 7.
I couldn't tell you down to the last second, but I would just tell you he didn't deserve to be there based on what I saw Games 1 through 6.
Right. So those are your 3 guys. Those are your big guys. I agree with you with how the league is changing. You know, it goes in cycles. First, it's positionless basketball, and then the big guys are diminished, and now it looks like the big guys are coming back. I agree. That's happening. But how about the Celtics just need give me a replacement level defender. They're bad. They have bad defenders in the middle. And so even if a guy's not going to give you offense,
I don't think Keita's a bad defender.
I think he is.
I think he's solid.
I don't think he's solid. I'm going to tell you why. This is
why. Foul trouble.
So he's right. So you can't tell me you're solid. You can't stay on the floor. He could not stay on the floor, and some of the fouls were just outrageous.
So he needs a very specific cat leap is what he needs. Stop fouling, get your head on straight, and maybe develop a little bit of a different shot. I want to say this, though. You know, Cat comes in that trade to New York. Since then, the Knicks have a winning record over the last 2 years, including the playoffs against the Celtics. When Jalen Brunson signed in summer 2022, the Celtics are only 12-11 against the Knicks. So, like, it's a new-ish problem with Cat, but it's also a bigger one than I gave it credit for until I dug into the numbers, being like, okay, what has it been like since Brunson got there and changed the Knicks? The last thing I'll add is this. Wemby being on the other side, you think about tonight's game. I think the Spurs absolutely could win. I think they could come back in this series because Wemby is that good. Here is the big issue, though. The pressure of the finals on a 22-year-old kid. This is what he had to say yesterday.
How do you deal with pressure for games like these 2 ahead?
How do I deal with it? I think the key is acceptance a lot of times, taking a step back, realizing the journey that's behind us and what's ahead of us. Just being okay with who I am, where I am, what I'm doing. I think at the end of the day, this is everything that I wish for. So there's no reason to really overthink it, or this is what I'm built for.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, clearly they have to. We know this. They have to win tonight. They have to, or this thing is over. Can they make it a best-of-3 series? Can they win the next 2 games in New York? Can it be one of those weird NBA Finals? Knicks win 2 in San Antonio, and San Antonio comes back and wins 2 in New York. Now you have a best-of-3 series.
I think so because I trust in him, the alien, who has wisdom of an 80-year-old man. Like, just listen to that. Like, acceptance, perspective, balance. And look, I say all the time, if you want to be an exception in sports, you have to be exceptional. And I think he is. So people go, oh, the crowd at MSG, it's going to be nuts tonight. That team, the Spurs, just won Game 1 and Game 7 at OKC, the reigning defending champions, surrounded by people who have nothing else going on in Oklahoma City but their basketball team. They're nuts. They're screaming.
Shots fired.
The Spurs went in and won those games. So, look, you start with 1. I don't think it's going to happen. But they could absolutely win one of these 2 games. Something else happens, or he goes for 40 and 15, 30 and 20. It's not outside the realm of possibility, but there's a reason the Knicks are minus 500 favorites.
All right, we got a break. We got a break here. Right. Ryan, I'm so sorry. We're late. We got a break. We got 2 stats in the line coming up next hour, or this hour now. We're so late. And Gary Washburn of the Globe in about 20 minutes.
took the loss from relief, giving up a home run in the eighth when Jazz Chisholm later went yard for the Bronx Bombers. That 6-1 loss dropped the Sox to 27-36 overall. Tonight they open a 3-game set in Tampa with Connolly early going for the Sox first pitch at 6:40 from the Trop. The NBA Finals resume tonight in New York with Game 3 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are 2.5-point favorites going into Game 3. Of course, they hold a 2-0 series lead over the Spurs, who dropped a 105-104 loss in Game 2 at home on Friday night. In football, the Patriots open their 3-day mandatory minicamp tomorrow at 1:30. Mike Vrabel will speak with reporters before each practice. Meanwhile, on the field, ESPN's Mike Reese reporting, quote, "It would be a surprise if Christian Gonzalez and Kayshon Boutte are not in attendance. Both players were recently missing from OTAs." And finally, the World Cup will open this week. Mexico and South Africa kicking off the tournament Thursday at 3 p.m. in Mexico City, while the U.S. national team opens against Paraguay on Friday night at 9 o'clock in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium. The 99 restaurants where kids eat free the day after a Red Sox win. Go get a free kids meal with every adult entree purchased. You gotta love the nines. I'm Andrew Callahan for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next update in 30 minutes.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchises on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub.
IYKYK, which obviously YD. Okay?
Toucher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
Which brings me, though, to my 2 stats and a lie. 2 of these stats are obviously the truth. One is a lie. Some imaging with this would be fun.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's a Toucher and Hardy program. 98.5 The Sports Hub. It's a big day for the station. The guys are at the Who's Your Caddy Classic. It's at Brook Meadow Country Club. The whole station is there in Canton. It's a good time. Great cause. All proceeds today benefit the Special Olympics of Massachusetts. And so we're going to hear from an insider. We're going to hear from a special insider on the course later in the show. Don't know who it is, but I know it's somebody who's going to be playing, who's going to have information. We talked about gossip in the first hour, media gossip, station gossip. We're going to have somebody who's going to tell us all that good stuff. But before we get there, 2 stats and a lie from Andrew Callahan. What have you cooked up this morning?
Well, I told you before the show you escaped a Michael Holley edition of 2 Stats and a Lie, which we've done here in the offseason.
Okay.
You know, every football season, every Tuesday, I bring 2 Patriot stats. I make one up. The guys guess. In the offseason, we've done a Fred edition. We've done a show edition, some Sox, some Celtics. Today, there's some Patriots and some Sox and a little of the NBA. Okay. So you will play. Beaton will play. Nick, are you in?
He said he's in.
All right.
All right, fantastic. So you have played once, I believe, Michael Holley.
Yes, I did not do well.
No. Very confident, though, off the top. Cocky.
Yeah.
Some might remember.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did not go well.
Very humble today. I expect to lose.
Arms are crossed, hunch forward a little bit. The body language is not.
Yeah, I'm just down.
Are you trying to do the opposite
down.
thing?
I don't feel good.
Okay.
Don't give me the ball, coach. I don't feel good. Don't hit it to me. Don't hit it to me.
All right. We ready, Ryan?
Ready to go. You want another? We could throw another little piece in here.
Andrew has 2 stats.
I mean, Nick made 70 of these.
Lie. Andrew has 2 stats. Buddy has just 1 lie.
All right, play along at home. 2 stats, 1 lie. Number 1. This year, A.J. Brown is set to earn more cash in a single season than any Patriot in franchise history. Number 1. This year, A.J. Brown is set to earn more cash in a single season than any Patriot in franchise history. Number 2. Since the start of the NBA playoffs on April 18th, the Red Sox have as many home wins as the Knicks do. Number 2. Since the start of the NBA playoffs on April 18th, the Red Sox have as many home wins as the Knicks do.
Oh, that's funny. That's a good one.
Number 3. According to the latest prices at SeatGeek,
okay,
it would be cheaper to buy tickets to every regular season and preseason Patriots game this year than to attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight at MSG. According to SeatGeek, it would be cheaper to buy, this is 20 games, regular season and preseason, every Patriots game home and away, to go to all those games than to buy one ticket to Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight at Madison Square Garden.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. Those are good. Those are all good. Can I start with? Can we start anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
All right.
This is the overthinking portion of the game.
I'm not going to overthink it.
It's my favorite. Okay.
I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to say number 3 is true. That third one is true. What was it? And say that again. What that third one was?
According to SeatGeek, it would be cheaper to buy tickets to every regular season and preseason Patriots game this year than to attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight at Madison Square Garden.
But see, I think that needs context, though. So this is where the overthinking is, because what kind of ticket?
The cheapest ticket to every game.
Okay, yeah.
To get in the building.
I think that's true. I think the A.J. Brown. No. I think the Knicks one is true, and I think the A.J. Brown is a lie. So that's it. That's why I think the first one is a lie, and the next 2 are true.
So number 1.
Yeah, number 1 is a lie. Next 2 are true.
I was going to go with that too, because I believe the Red Sox stink, and I believe the Knicks tickets are really expensive. I don't know exactly how much money A.J. Brown's making, but I know those last 2.
Do you want to know?
Probably true.
See, I can share.
Yeah. What is A.J. Brown making?
$29 million this year.
Yeah, I think that is lower than what I think Milton. For some reason, Milton Williams comes to mind.
So the reason I said cash is this includes salary, just bonuses, likely to be earned incentives, all that stuff that counts as like how much the Patriots expect to hand over in actual money.
Yeah, I think they handed over more to Milton Williams. I think.
In that case, if number 1 is true, then I could see 2 being the lie, because I know Knicks tickets, no matter what, 3 has to be true, because I feel like the Knicks tickets are just ridiculously expensive.
So this is where he throws you off. Hey, you know what, Jamelli, this is where he throws you off, because he tries to he comes in and he says it because he's got the answer. He says the banker. The banker knows all. And so when the banker speaks, you start to question yourself. You start to quake. You're like, oh, wait a minute, what? But he said that. He wouldn't have said that if that were true. And then you start to get you in the maze. He gets you in this blender. He should have been a psychiatrist. Did you major in psychology? You probably did. You probably loved psychology classes.
So
it was like your minor, wasn't it? It was.
Do we have a cut of me saying this is the overthinking portion of the program and then being dismissed immediately? And you're right, I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
See, I tell you, here's just like, this guy is like, you go to, you said you wanted some therapy help. You're the therapy guy. You go into therapy, and then people just start telling you things, and then they start to wonder, am I saying enough? Do I need to say more?
Is that not being a reporter, though? Should I have said this? Is this true? Tell me more.
That's true. Yeah, keep going.
Go on.
No, you're doing great. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
All right. See you next Tuesday.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Same time, same place.
That's right.
All right, Nick.
Just to recap, you're choosing the Red Sox, correct, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll go 2.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to go with 2, but I want to take 3 because it's so crazy. It's so much good. Like, it's so expensive right now to buy a ticket right now, but is it that much more expensive? So and there's a strategy to it too. So maybe I'll go with 3 just to pick, just to go with
just
that.
To switch it up a little.
You guys are playing zone on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be right. I'm rooting for my teammates against the machine. You, the machine.
The machine, the banker?
You're the machine, the banker, who's got all the information.
The evil shrink over here.
That's right. You know all. You've got the answer.
Senor Paraguay. All right. Michael has 1. Ryan has 2. Nicholas is taking 3. Drum roll, please. The answer is number 1. Michael Holley got me.
Oh!
And Milton Williams is the exact right man to know. So A.J. Brown this single season, all of these numbers according to Spotrac, by the way.
Okay.
So if you have an issue, talk to Spotrac.
Don't talk to me. Talk to Spotrac.
A.J. Brown set to earn $29 million in cash this season. Milton Williams, mostly thanks to that signing bonus last year, $31.4 million.
Just barely beat him out.
How about this? There was one other player, Patriots franchise history, more than Tom Brady ever made in a single season, according to Spotrac. There was one player who made more than $29 million last year. So this would be the second highest paid Patriot in a single season, just one season, not total contract. This is harder than you think.
So there's one player who did this last year?
Yes, $29.24 million.
Wow. Would that be, did they overpay the handsy Carlton Davis?
No, but a good guess.
Okay. Very handsy. He's a very handsy guy. So handsy.
Is he handsy?
Just keep your hands to yourself, Carlton. Please. They could call pass interference on every single play with Carlton Davis. Every single one. It's harder than you think. So it had to be, you got any guesses, Ryan? Harder than you think. It's got to be, it's not Harold Landry. They didn't pay Harold Landry that kind of money, did they?
Nope.
I'm trying to think. Milton Williams was obviously the first player that came to mind when you said the original stat, but now I'm trying to think who else made that much money.
So you keep bringing up Carlton Davis being handsy. What if I said less hands, more arms? What if you're thinking more about the arms?
Okay. Was it Morgan? No, not Morgan Moses. Arms.
Warmer.
Push.
Warmer.
Okay. Arms.
I'm just going to leave us hanging like this.
No, it's not Will Campbell.
It is.
What?
The number 4 overall pick.
What?
With that signing bonus.
Did he really?
Salary likely to be earned incentives earned $29.24 million last season. Yep.
Now let's talk about the value of, what did they get for that $29 million last year?
Well, that's just year one of that contract.
Oh, wow.
How much was his bonus?
We can get into that, I'll tell you in a second. But just to wrap on the other two.
Yeah.
The Red Sox have 6 home wins since April 18th, which was the start of the NBA playoffs. The Knicks also have 6 home wins.
I was going to say, the Knicks is not as high because I start to struggle on that because I'm writing down because they had 2 in Philly, against Philly, 2 against Cleveland. But Atlanta beat them once.
At home.
To
extend the series.
Yeah.
And they beat them in Game 5 at home. So they had 2 against the Hawks, 2 against the Sixers, 2 against the Cavs. And then according to SeatGeek, so we just looked this up in the break, prices have come down from $11,000 to just over $5,000. We want to get it just into Madison Square Garden. 1 ticket, $5,000. Here you go. If you wanted to buy the cheapest ticket to every Patriots game and preseason, regular season, preseason, it would be just shy of $4,000. That's 20 football games.
That's unbelievable.
For $4,000 according to SeatGeek, and you want to go to 1 basketball game for $5,000.
And I could understand it in a different era. But now you have everything. Everything's on TV. Everything. You can find it. You can get it. You can, as a matter of fact, even if you don't get inside, I know they're not going to do it tonight because the president's going to be there, but usually they have these little watch parties and, got the whole crowd. Let's say you want the crowd experience, but you don't want to pay thousands of dollars. You can hang out with like-minded Knicks fans and have a good time.
Yeah, go to a bar.
Why are you doing
this?
this?
You know what you do instead? Run up a $5,000 bar tab.
Yeah,
that's
there you go. You could try, and you probably still couldn't run up a $5,000 bar tab. You could say, "Hey, drinks for everybody, shots for everybody," and it still wouldn't be $5,000. Anyway, speaking of basketball, Gary Washburn of the Globe is going to join us next on Toucher and Hardy.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
No. Celtics lose at home in Game 7 to Philly. And the Knicks are on a 13-game winning streak. To help us make sense of this, Gary Washburn of the Globe. And I guess, Gary, I'll start with this. What have you learned about the Knicks that maybe you didn't know at the beginning of April or in the middle of April?
Well, Mike, I think what we envisioned for them, best case scenario, has finally come together. I think when you look at this team and you see that they paid $210 million for OG Anunoby, they acquired Karl Anthony Towns, they spent 5 first-round picks on Mikal Bridges for the express purpose of guarding Tatum and Brown. They were able to get the amazing bargain on Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart, has just been such a valuable player. Like, all the guys that they put together, were a capable, very good team. They just never played like it. And obviously last year against Indiana, they fall in the Eastern Conference Finals. They after beating the Celtics. And this year they just kind of stumbled throughout the season. I think they lost 9 of 11 at one point. And it just looked like here come the same old Knicks. But something was found in that Game 4 against Atlanta, and they've become the team that everybody kind of feared they would be. And under Mike Brown, who obviously is not the most decorated coach, he's been fired multiple times. He's never won a title. There was a lot of doubts about him. But for some reason, it's all come together. And I think if you look at a potential Celtics-Knicks series, you would have had to have picked the Knicks easily. I think the Celtics would have gotten a game or two in that series, but the Celtics probably weren't prepared for this Knicks team as we see now.
So, Gary, I'm glad you mentioned Mikal Bridges in the context of that giant trade, which was much maligned, as I understood it, in New York, for especially early in the playoffs when he's struggling in parts of the regular season, as being specifically to guard the Jays, because that's exactly what it was. They understood they had to go through the then reigning champion Celtics to win the East, which obviously took another year. But here they are, and I look at this finals, and I've discussed this with Michael, being like, Cat at this version of a more disciplined defender, a playmaking hub, particularly in and around the elbows. Like, that's a guy now, if I'm the Celtics in this offseason, I have to tweak my offseason plans because we have to go through them. What, if anything, do you think this does to their plans and how they need to tweak their roster, knowing the level that the Knicks have reached, specifically going up through Karl Anthony Towns?
I think what we've learned, Andrew, is that depth is important if you look at both of these teams. And I think the Celtics took a step back, obviously salary-wise, with moving on from Porzingis and Horford and Cornette and Drew Holiday because they had to get another second A. But I think we all know there's salary issues. But I don't know how much you can depend on, the likes of a Jordan Walsh or a Baylor Shireman. And good, solid players. But if you look at the Knicks, you look at the Spurs, like their depth is what stands out. They can go 10 deep. The Knicks have a Landry Shamet that they found kind of off the street. Jordan Clarkson, who's not really even playing in this series. Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. Like they have guys who could probably start for other teams at coming off the bench and playing 13 minutes. And I think the depth thing is what the Celtics are going to have to learn. They're going to have to fortify their roster with more talent and more athleticism. I think that's the big lesson from the Philadelphia series. It's a big lesson from watching the finals. You need wings. You need athletic wings. You need guys who can do multiple things. You need guys who can not only shoot, but they can defend. You can't fill your roster with a bunch of kind of streaky three-point shooters and expect to get past, any part of the playoffs. So I think that's what they've learned. I think Brad was very honest in his season-ending press conference in terms of assessing the roster, looking and saying, damn it, we need to get more athletic. We need to get better, defenders. We need to get overall. We need kind of, I wouldn't say complete overall, but you need to reassess the roster because today's NBA, if you look at some of the teams, and even the teams that didn't make the finals, even the Minnesotas, and even the other some of the other teams who are upcoming, they're loading their roster with athletes, wings, and legitimate fives. I don't know how much you can get away with Anemias Keita. You've got to fortify that position too. So they just need I'd say a mini overhaul.
So I think before the Philadelphia series was over, you wrote a blazing column going at Joe Mazzulla. You talked about his stubbornness and how it was working against him and working against the Celtics. So let's play a game here and say Joe Mazzulla was not stubborn. And the Celtics did what a lot of fans wanted them to do, and they played the way they wanted them to play. How far would that team have gone? I mean, would the Celtics be where the Knicks are today if not for their play style?
That's a stretch, Mike. I think they obviously win the Philadelphia series. I think this team probably loses to the Knicks in 6. And I think if this team ran into this current Knicks team and they lost in 6, I don't think Celtics fans would be so disappointed about the season because they took a step back and they were playing with less talent. They didn't have the veteran talent. And you say, okay, they took a hit this year to get under the second apron, but now everything resets and now you prepare for the coming years, and now you get the vets in here and you draft well and you develop some of your other talent. You probably move on from a couple of other players. So I don't think that this team, if Joe coaches this team, quote unquote, righter, they take fewer 3-pointers, they get to the NBA Finals. I think that there was a talent issue in comparison to some of the other teams, especially the way the Knicks are playing now. I think as a Spurs fan, the Knicks are a team that you just can't shake. They just keep coming. And that Jalen Brunson, to me, is just is an incredible. He's a killer. He's just incredible.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, so to me, I think the Celtics, their ceiling was probably the Eastern Conference semifinals and probably taking the Knicks deep into a series.
Gary, I asked Michael earlier to therapize me as someone who is a lifelong New Englander, Boston fan, who likes this Knicks team a whole lot. And I got to tell you a reason that I am pulling for the Knicks very slightly here in this series is that I have a little bit of anxiety around the future of basketball, not like this big way that the sport is going to go south, but Victor Wembanyama feels inevitable. So the idea that he might have to wait another year for a championship and go through what you would say is the traditional means of superstardom where you get bloodied on the way up to the top and you have to climb the mountain all over again is encouraging to me. Am I right to think that given how good he is now, maybe the best player in the world, if they don't win this year, the Spurs still could win 3, 4, 5 of the next 10 championships? Like, am I getting ahead of myself, or is he that good and this team is that young and precocious?
I think he's that good, and I think even if the Knicks win this series, which they probably should, they won't be favored to win the championship next year. I think once the odds are laid out, I don't think the Knicks will be at the top of that, whatever betting sites you look at in terms of odds to win the 27 title. The Spurs will probably be favorites. So I think that teams are going to have to prepare for this Spurs team in terms of the future. However, like Oklahoma City, like a lot of young teams that were put together, they got to pay all these guys eventually. And they're going to have to supermax. I think that's probably the biggest no-brainer in the history of the NBA is supermaxing Victor Wembanyama. But you're also going to have to do that eventually to Dylan Harper. You're also going to have to do that to other players. You're going to have to pay them. And unfortunately, with this cap situation and the way the CBA has gone in terms of preventing dynasties, it gets tougher to keep these teams together. So you can't say, oh, the Spurs are going to win 5 of the next 6. They'd have to get really fortunate, and they'd have to do some roster management to do that. But they will be favored after this experience, especially, to probably come back and win it next year. And then you've got to consider Oklahoma City will be in that conversation, and then there'll be teams like Minnesota. There are teams coming. That's the thing. This whole anti-tanking thing now is interesting because now no one's going to tank. So the regular season next year is going to be a minefield. It's going to be difficult for teams to win as easily as they did in the past because now tanking has just kind of been eliminated.
Gary, sticking with Wemby for a quick second. Let's say stubborn Joe Mazzulla says F it when the Spurs are in town next season. He says, Gary, I've had enough. Here's the clipboard. You draw up our defense. So I get to sit in your chair after this game and ask you questions. What have you learned from watching Victor Wembanyama that, like, this would be Gary Washburn's game plan against him? Clearly the Knicks have had success, but there's no Karl Anthony Towns on their bench. What would you do? What do you think can work against the 7'4" alien who, again, might be the best player in the world already?
Well, you get him away from the basket, you make him take jumpers. That's pretty much it. He doesn't have a patented shot yet. I think that's the one thing that we're seeing, that he doesn't have that last shot of game two, like he took a fadeaway 20-footer. I mean, I was there in San Antonio this year where the strategy was let Victor take threes, and the Celtics did that, and he hit 8 of them. And you're like, Christ, if he ever becomes like it was like what we said about Giannis for years. If Giannis ever shot the three, he'd be completely unstoppable. But Giannis never learned to really shoot the three. Victor will, but I think you've got to use kind of his lack of physicality against him, push him outside, make sure he doesn't dominate the paint, make sure he takes a bunch of mid-range jumpers. And if he masters that, and he masters a three, and he gets a go-to move, I mean, he's still got a lot of work to do. He's only 22. You know, so this is a player who, by 28, could just literally own the league. So there's a lot of work to be done, but he's still so, impressive that you look and you're like, wow, he could be he's going to be the face of the league for many reasons. But you look and just go, this guy could be just the most unstoppable player we've seen in 30 years. I'd say since Jordan. But if I'm Joe Mazzulla, right now you force him away from the paint and make him take those 20-footers, the ones he missed at the end of game two. That's how you neutralize him.
All right, this is my last one for you, Gary, and I got to go back over other Zip 2 deficits where I was convinced it was over. So I remember Dallas going up 2-0 on Miami and thinking it's over. And there were some commentary, you may remember this. Hey, this kid, Dwayne Wade, he's overwhelmed by the finals. And then he goes off and has a bunch of 40-point games, and he's the finals MVP. I was convinced it was over. Phoenix goes up on the Bucks 2-0. And I remember talking to Charles Barkley at the time. I said, it's over. I said, your Phoenix Suns are going to win the championship. He said, you know better than that. It's only 2 games. And I know this is 2 wins at home, but why would this be different? Or is this different? Is this, hey, they're up 2-0, they're going home, and this thing is over. The Knicks are going to win. Tell me what you see here.
I still see a competitive series. The 2 games have been close. The Spurs, you could say, theoretically have blown both games. Now, if they get away from home and they just play loose and more of comfortably in this environment, tonight will be a madhouse. I don't think we've ever seen the Garden this way. I mean, it's been 27 years since they've hosted a finals game, and that was an 8th-seeded team with, the Spreewells and the Marcus Camby's against the kind of the powerful Spurs. Like, this is going to be a little different because the Garden's a Garden. But if the Spurs play with some looseness, they can very easily get themselves back in this series. I don't think this series is over. Obviously, if they lose tonight, it's over. But if they punch and they get the Knicks feeling slightly insecure, and they get Game 3 in an impressive fashion and come back and try to sneak Game 4, then it's anybody's series again. So I don't think it's over. I think the Spurs are. I mean, they won twice at Oklahoma City. I mean, they can win on the road, but they've just got to put together a consistent game. And guys who have not appeared and played very well in the first 2 games have got to step up and respond. The Keldon Johnsons, the Vassell's, no more boneheaded plays. I mean, they've got to play like a poised team.
All right, Gary, real quick. Joe Mazzulla is on this tour from Omaha, Nebraska, working out with Baylor Shireman. He's in Portugal with Nimi Keita. Let's say you have 1-week trip booked with Joe Mazzulla, with whom you have famously butted heads on occasion. Where are you going, and what are you doing together? The 2 of you, this is non-negotiable. You have to hang out for a full week. Anywhere in the world in this trip that Joe's taking, where are you going?
I'm probably going someplace where, like in Michael, I know, like where Kung Fu went. the David Carradine character, where sometimes Mongolia, China, something like that, and sitting crossing my legs and studying and with incense in the air, something like that, where I could really get and then practice Taekwondo, something like that, where I could learn get good at something I've never done before. Yeah, like that kung fu stuff, or that stuff that from the old series from the '70s, something like that, where some older guy is telling me all this great life philosophy that I can take and I can ingest. Me and Joe, and we're eating berries and stuff like that. That's probably my choice, because it's something that I know Joe has way more knowledge on me than me, and stuff that I can learn, because I think I can learn a lot from Joe, and I think he's a brilliant guy. As much as we've had our differences in the past, he's beyond brilliant. So something I could do, something like that.
Let's make this happen. Let's get this happen. Joe and Gary on the road. I like the way you're thinking, Andrew.
Look, if people are going to watch Nesson and the Boston Globe today, Gary Washburn eating berries and wrestling Joe Mazzulla or doing karate. Joe's got the jiu-jitsu stuff. I think your guy Adam Himmelsbach has detailed that for us. Gary, I love this. I want this to happen this summer, whatever it takes on our part at the Herald to make it happen. I will lend our support.
Read him in the Boston Globe. Gary Washburn, thanks for taking the time today, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot.
All right, so the Knicks getting ready for Game 3 tonight at a very expensive, very excited Madison Square Garden. So we'll see what happens. Spurs-Knicks Game 3. We got more of the program coming up. And we'll take some phone calls, too. We'll take some phone calls from you guys. 617-779-0985. Toucher and Hardy. Next.
Sports Hub headline. on the Sports Hub.
The latest get-in price for the Knicks games is almost $11,000 for Game 3. $16,000 for Game 4, which if the Knicks were to win Game 3, Game 4 would be the clincher. $16,000 for the nosebleed seats.
Just to get in.
You heard it. That's what's going down tonight at Madison Square Garden. First NBA Finals game in New York since 1999. I was there. I remember it. It was the Spurs and the Knicks again. It was following the NBA lockout. So it was a 50-game season. The Knicks were the 8th seed. And they had, see if any of these names kind of resonate with you. They had Allen Houston.
Yep.
Larry Johnson, Grandmama, was on the team. He was a peach. He was not a pleasant guy to deal with. He was a bit of a jerk, actually. Spreewell. I think Charlie Ward may have been on that team. Camby. They didn't have Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing was already gone. I think had been traded to Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. But it was not even. It was fun to be in New York City, but that was it. They had the Spurs. All you need to know is the Spurs had Tim Duncan and David Robinson, and that was it. I mean, they had other guys on their team. I think Steve Kerr may have been on the team. Avery Johnson. They had a couple of coaches on the team, future coaches. Avery Johnson. They had a podcaster on this team. On the team, Steven Jackson was on that team too. I think.
What's that? All the Smoke.
All That Smoke. Yeah.
This has been.
But the money. Could you even imagine?
No.
Paying that kind of money for this game?
Well, first of all, as much as those were New York nostalgic names, anytime you want to play guys naming dudes of just, how about this guy from the 90s? You want to play that with me when you're asking, hey, do you remember Spreewell and Allen Houston? I'm always game. I'm game. It's the best bit. It's the best content around, guys naming dudes. Look, I was trying to think, what would I spend this money on? And I understand people listening to me now go, well, look, you have a press pass. You go to Patriots games. Of course, I wouldn't pay for things that people listening would pay. Patriots Super Bowl, you'd cough up $5,000-$6,000 because it's come down from the $11,000. And the only thing I could really land on for that amount of money would be if for whatever reason my now 7-month-old daughter went to high school and it became commonplace to charge for graduation prices. You know what I mean? It has to be a destination wedding.
To be there.
It's an obligation as well as something that I would love to be at, because if it's going to be on TV, man, and you want that much money from me, why don't I just go to a bar? Why don't I get closer there? I watched some of the Red Sox playoff games in 2021 at Cask and Flag and had a great time. You could hear Fenway across the street.
So by that standard, you say a destination or obligation. Obligation.
Yeah.
Or how about this in a sports context? And it's hard to imagine now because they've won since. But let's say if somebody said to you, I guarantee you got a really good shot in 2004. You got a really good shot of seeing the Red Sox. We get you. If you can go to all you got to do is get yourself to St. Louis, or we'll get you to St. Louis for free, but you got to pay $5,000 or $6,000 to see the Red Sox clinch their first World Series in 86 years. Ground ball, stabbed by Folk. He has it. All right. Would you pay $5,000 or $6,000 to see something that your parents and your grandparents and your great grandparents never saw?
So you almost had me there, because I think that's the perfect example of peak moments that you would say, even more so than Patriots Rams in the Super Bowl. The issue is, and this is also the beauty of sports, you could buy tickets to Game 4. And this is the same thing if people want to pony up $16,000. We just heard it for Knicks Spurs on Wednesday. What if they lose? You just spent all this money and your kid didn't graduate, or the concert played all the songs that you hate, and you went there and it wasn't necessarily what you thought it was going to be. And again, that thrill and that uncertainty, again, why we like sports. But for that historic moment, I would have to get multiple tickets. Now, you would go, would you pay $5,000 for games 4 and 5? Because I think it was still 2-3-2 back then.
Yeah, back in the day. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I might say yes.
Yeah, it's That's a tough one. And you mentioned losing an NBA Finals game. When I heard your update on the Celtics, I meant to mention this to you earlier. The anniversary of the 1986 Celtics winning that championship over the Rockets.
Mm-hmm. Game 6.
That team lost one game at home. One game the entire year.
The regular season.
And postseason.
Oh, okay. Oh, 2-3-2. Yeah.
They lost one game the entire year at home. So there's some NBA stats where you go, oh yeah, I can see that one being broken. I mean I can't see the 73 wins being broken by the Warriors in 2016. It was 73-9, and yet they lost the championship. I can't really see that being broken. The Celtics, I think, were 50-1. If you put it all together between the regular season and the postseason at home. And back in the day, they were playing, they'd have a game or several games at the Hartford Civic Center, playing at the mall where the Whalers play. It was like a mall.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, right.
Still there.
So they play at the Hartford Civic Center. That's a home game. They win those, and they lost one game the entire year. So now, if you put those two together, if you can time travel a little bit, if you can make the 2026 Knicks the 1986 Celtics, and you got a game at Madison Square Garden, and you're going to get a win for the first finals game of the 21st century at Madison Square Garden, I could talk myself into it. I might be able to talk myself into that.
But then remember the two stats in line. If I put on the table on one side, Patriots season tickets, and it's hard to say because in this case you're a Knicks fan. You want to go to the Jets and Giants every Sunday? You want Jets season tickets versus Knicks game 3 and 4? Easy call. But on one side of the table, that's 20 games. Here you go for a little bit less than just the one here. And we'll call it Wednesday. I don't think you can choose the one over the 20, even though I understand the attachment and the history and the emotion. I'll say this too. Or do you think, because this MSG crowd has been hyped, oh my God, the fact that they are so expensive makes me think this will be more of a, uppity crowd. Like the guys who are screaming their lungs out from the 300s are just can't pay this, you would think, right?
You would think.
Yeah. This is not, I can say tea and crumpets crowd, but you know what I'm talking about. Like the Super Bowl crowd, right? Famously expensive, and it's a neutral site, okay, whatever. That crowd is never that electric because it's just filled with people
corporate,
who are corporate. They're chatting. They're there to be seen.
Fine. They like being there, but they're not really passionate about it. Their team loses, team wins. It doesn't really affect them. It doesn't. Yeah,
that's what I think.
Throw them off.
This might be an advantage for the Spurs.
Yeah, maybe it is. All right, come on. I got to get back on this clock. Got to get back to your headlines. I got to get closer to Doug Kide, who's going to be coming on at 8:25. More of your phone calls, too, or any of your phone calls at 617-779-0985. Toucher and Hardy. We got more coming up right after this.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Shake it up.
is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Oh boy, I guess it's time for more Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Toucher and Hardy, hour number 3. Michael Holley here alongside Andrew Callahan. Where are the guys today, you ask? Well, good question. They're at the 2026 Who's Your Caddy Classic. It taking place right now. They'll be teeing off very soon, probably in about 20 minutes, at the Brook Meadow Country Club in Canton. And this is great. This is one of the coolest things that the station does. All proceeds today benefit the Special Olympics of Massachusetts. A lot of sponsors to thank: Brook Meadow Country Club, obviously, Bernardi Auto Group, Catches Law Group, Penn Golf, FootJoy, Yale Appliances, and Snell Golf. Now, when we talk about golf, are you a golfer, Andrew? Is that your? Is that in your bag? That's your skill set?
About once a year. Prefer a scramble setting and some beers and some friends, and that's the best version to me. We all take the same shot, pick the best one. It's usually not mine, but when it is, man, I feel better than everybody else because that wasn't supposed to happen.
Of course, and I'm not. I work with a lot of people who are into it. Tommy Curran loves it, wants to talk about it all the time. Felger's a pretty good golfer, and Maz is out there too. So I'm just wondering about this tournament today. And if you are, if you're that guy, let's say you need to win $5,000 because you need to go to the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden, or maybe you need to win $7,000 or $8,000, and you need somebody to kind of carry you. You need a ringer to get you to a tournament victory. Who are you picking from the station?
So I love this.
And maybe it's not just, we'll start off with golf, but maybe we'll make it large. Who's the sportsman? Who's the sports person at this station where you say, any problem I run into, this person here is going to be good for me. This is my advantage. And just to give you the idea of it, all right, so years ago, I did a story on Bill Russell. Bill Russell had a tribute at the Garden. So it was a Bill Russell night at the Garden. And some of the elements from that night aged well, others didn't. For example, I think the MC that night was Bill Cosby.
Oh no.
So but Aretha Franklin was there, Brian Gumbel, Wilt Chamberlain, like some of the stars. But as a part of that story, I'm riding around Boston in a limo with Bill Russell and Dr. J. And I thought after that, I said, if I had stopped anywhere in the city and said, I'll play anybody 3-on-3, me and 2 guys against anybody you got. And I got Bill Russell, even at his advanced age, and Dr. J. I win it because I got Russell and Dr. J. So that's the spirit. Like, who's the person here who can carry you places where you can't go on your own?
Okay, first of all, I need to hit pause. Number one, I have to applaud an unbelievable job by you to shoehorn a story of I was in a limo once with Bill Russell and Dr. J before we pick through people like Maz or Tim McCone or Zoe or Beetle or Felger who have nothing to do with riding around with 2 of the 20 best basketball players to ever live in a limo and you.
30.
And it's not even the same
best.
sport. We're not
30.
talking basketball. We're talking golf.
30 best.
30? Okay. All due respect to Bill.
No, Dr. J.
I'm kidding.
Come on.
So, look, so if any problem arises, that sounded like if something was going down the back alley, in which case I'd have a very different list. But if we're talking golf or sports, and we are ranking our colleagues and friends,
yes,
which we led off the show talking about how much we like to gossip, nothing better than just judging your friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my guy Phil Perry at the top. I do know that Phil plays a little bit of golf, but since we're opening this up, I don't know if this is an Olympic setup. We're going to play different sports. I'll trust him to play
we are
hoops.
going to play. We're going to play different sports.
He plays baseball. If this is a 98.5 staffers draft, not to mention he was an award winner at the Takeys end of the year for the worst takes of anyone had on the station. We did this New Year's Eve.
And what was the worst take?
He had, boy, I'd have to call him up, but he was very honored. People heard about it. talking
Okay.
about it. The Takeys. Tune
All
in
right.
this New Year's Eve. Phil Perry's my number one pick. I don't even care about the sport. That's how secure I am in this top pick.
Oh, that's a good one. That's good. Phil Perry is your number one pick. All right, you don't care about the sport, but what you're saying is, I think you're getting caught up.
It's a high floor.
Yeah, I know, but you're getting caught up. This is where your football coverage betrays you. Because what you're doing is you're drafting the combine superstar number one overall. Oh, wow, look what he did. Like, look at the broad jump. Oh, look at the 40. Oh, but can he play football? Can he play football? You got all the measurables, but can you play? So I need the best. I'm going to go with my first pick, because I have other picks. I'm going to go with the best golfer at the station. And Ryan's going to tell me who that is. Who is it?
Kevin Majori.
All right, I'm Kevin. Kevin is my number one pick.
Okay.
Kevin Majori. I'm going Kevin Majori. Give me the sound. Thank you. Because I want to win. I know I can win at golf. Now, can he play hoops? Probably not. It's probably terrible. It's probably awful. Probably never even picked up a basketball. But I know he's the best golfer.
So when I hosted the Takeys on New Year's Eve, I co-hosted with Mark Dondero. I frequently co-host with when he fills in.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time together. One of the things I know most about Mark is that if he has free time, that man is on the golf course.
Okay.
So when I draft him here as someone who also played baseball at a pretty high level, I've got my all-around pick if we want to go elsewhere on the course.
Okay.
But in this 98.5 draft, look, if we open this up to contributors, I'm steering clear of the big names. I also feel like we got good team chemistry here. That's important to me. And that's no slight at Kevin. I don't particularly know Kevin that well.
Sounds like a slight, but go ahead.
But it might be a slight to someone who hasn't been drafted yet. We know golfs. So we have good team chemistry here. With Phil, Mark, it's going to be high effort.
Yeah.
Versatility. I mean, I don't think I could have had. I got my top two picks on my board. I'll put it that way.
Exactly. Okay, there you go. That's a good pick. So you are drafting.
I didn't have to outsource my pick to Ryan Beaton Draft Magazine either.
You know what it is? No, this is because you're not a collaborator. Because I am working with, I'm not one of these guys who says, hey,
doesn't listen to his scouts.
I'm caught up in final say. You see what happened with Bill Belichick at the end, right? You know? And I don't think Kevin Majori went to Rutgers. I didn't pick a Rutgers guy just because. But I think you've missed an opportunity here.
Okay.
You like doing the show?
Yeah.
You do. You like what's the name of the show?
Toucher and Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy. You like the show. It's good. It's good for you. It's good for you. Good for your family. You don't do it. You don't do the show for free. They pay you to do the show.
Lucky enough to say yes. You as well.
That's right. Yeah, right. You want to keep doing it. I'm drafting Hardy. I'm drafting Hardy, but no, not just for political reasons.
Yeah.
But that factors in. Come on, let's be honest.
Okay.
This is a man who knows golf courses. I'm still trying to secure victories. So I don't want any kind of, if Majori has a bad day on the course, I got somebody who can still carry me because I got to get a golf win over you. Now, when we get into other sports, maybe you have Phil Perry and he can hit a baseball or he can do some football drill that gives you the advantage. But when we're talking about golf, I need to know I'm going to win that one.
Okay.
He knows the courses and his name's on the show.
So this pick is a classic, falling down the draft boards due to character concerns, but we ignore those. They're too talented. I've heard Hardy say this person is better than him at golf. They have played pickleball together, and he likes to boast about his hand-eye coordination. So perhaps it's a good thing that he fell to me in the third round, and we can all get along being a team player, or it'll rankle him or it'll motivate him. But at this point, the value is too good on Felger not to take it. Second best golfer at the station, if not first.
Is that true?
I've never seen him play, but everyone says he's pretty good. So
okay, there you go.
And now facing you, I think you haven't
seen him play either.
He apparently had the putting yips for years, but I think he's since gotten past.
Current's called him scrappy. Hardy again has said he's better, and Hardy plays a lot, focused, detailed.
Okay, all right. So you got Felger, your third pick.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, good. So I'm gonna go out here and say
nothing about my character concern commentary.
No, well, because everybody agrees with you. I mean, like, everybody says, "Oh yeah, of course."
Yeah.
They're real character concerns. I feel like this is a steal. My pick here is a steal because I am drafting the only professional athlete from this station. Well, one of the longest tenured professional athlete. I understand David Andrews is on staff here, but the longest tenured professional athlete at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Give me Scott Zolak.
Okay.
What's this? Okay, 6'4", 6'5", a professional quarterback who'll be able to do something outside of football. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this pick.
If you read a scouting report that said can do something, and that was it,
can do something outside of football,
would you take that player?
Yes,
that
outside
of
because he is there as he's my big body. I got to have a big body on staff. All right, so let's say you play your theoretical your basketball game that you're going to have Phil Perry as your star player.
Oh yeah.
So if Phil Perry goes into the post and runs into Scott Zolak, he's not going to like that. I don't think he'll like that. I think Zolak will wear him down. I think Zolak will wear him down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Till we're running up and down.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to run up and down. We're going to make this a half court. We're going to slow this thing down.
Just paint only inside the 3-point line. It's a third court game.
Are you familiar with the Providence Steamrollers? We're going way back.
All right, rounding up the foursome here. Since you mentioned him, I got other guys on here.
Yeah.
But if I want an enforcer who's also recently picked up golf and I believe is addicted to it, and if that's too strong, David, since you're listening, call me, text me, call the show. David Andrews. So I had Phil Perry, Mark Dondero, Mike Felger, David Andrews. That's my foursome for this 98.5 Stafford draft. We could play golf. We could play hoops. We could play football. We can do whatever. Call us up.
All right. Who do I have so far? Who do I have on my draft board?
Majori. So far, you have Majori, Felger.
No, he doesn't. I do.
No. He's got Felger.
That's right.
I've got Majori. I've got Hardy. I've got Zolak. I like my team. And you know what? Give me McComb. Ooh, I like that. That is a good one, isn't it?
Glue guy.
Because you don't know what he can do, right?
He can run.
I think he can run. I think he can play golf. I think he can hoop. I think he's a good scat back slot guy in football. I think he can bowl.
He play ping pong?
I think. Oh, he can shoot some pool. Oh, McComb can shoot some pool. He can swim.
Cool.
You don't like my team, but I love.
No, I feel good about my team.
I love my.
We'll
team.
run this by our mystery caller at 9.
Mystery caller at 9. Not a mystery coming up in 5 minutes. Doug Kide of the Herald. Don't go anywhere.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps. They'll be right back on the Sports Hub.
to get him. Do you view this as a win now move?
We have to, we have to win. That's our job, is to win. That's the job and responsibility and the expectations in the National Football League. It's not to go 4-13 2 years in a row, if that's what you mean.
Of being a head coach. See what I did there? You don't even know. You don't even know the song. You don't even know the song. Anyway, stakes is high. Get it? Talking about the high stakes of being a head coach in the NFL. But how about they taking that shot there? Not being back-to-back 4-13 in back-to-back seasons, which they were under Gerard Mayo and Bill Belichick. A.J. Brown is a Patriot, and I can't wait to talk to Doug Kyed of the Herald about A.J. Brown, because, Doug, I was talking to Andrew during the break, and someone asked Kyed about this. I feel like we've talked about A.J. Brown so much, talked about the compensation and what about the knee and, hey, did Howie Roseman win this deal, that he's kind of become underrated this offseason. I think you look at his numbers and his production, he's a great player who is not really being discussed as a great player. What do you think about A.J. Brown at this stage of his career and what he'll bring to the Patriots?
I think that's a fair assessment that he's a little bit underrated, but I also think that we have to factor in last season when there was a little bit of a drop-off compared to the rest of his career, where his numbers were down across the board. I don't know how much you subscribe to PFF numbers. His PFF numbers were down, his yards per route run, all those different things. But clearly the guy wasn't happy. He's playing with a better quarterback now in Drake May, and I think that he can get back up into that top 10 wide receiver echelon. But, yeah, it feels like we've talked about everything other than what A.J. Brown can actually contribute on the field at this point.
Who benefits most, aside from Drake May, Doug, with A.J. Brown on the field?
That's a good question. I mean, I think the other wide receivers do. I think Romeo Doubs can benefit. I think whoever can be that number 3 receiver is. But ultimately, probably Josh McDaniels, because he already had a top 5 offense last year without a number 1 wide receiver, without A.J. Brown in it. And now I think it has a chance to take a significant leap forward with A.J. Brown in there, with Romeo Doubs, with maybe a little bit of a third-year leap from Drake May. So I think I would say Josh McDaniels.
We're talking football already, all right? So Andrew asked you about, who's going to benefit from A.J. Brown. I asked you about A.J. Brown himself. I'm not even thinking about asking of a Mike Vrabel question about relationships. You think that's – are you, just from a reporter standpoint, do you say, all right, I weathered that storm. I don't have to keep following TMZ and the New York Post and everybody else. Do you feel like that has passed? Are we past that?
It feels like it at this point. I mean, I'm still waiting for another shoe to drop.
You are? You still think that way?
I mean, it's still, yeah. I mean, I still think about it a little bit just because it's possible. But I do also think that if something was going to come out, it probably would have already come out by now. People were seeing that there was money and, posting pictures or sending pictures to TMZ and all these things. So if there was something else out there, I think it probably would have come out. But sure, I mean, it's in the back of my mind. I think something else could potentially happen.
I'm having a very Godfather 3 moment where just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, because Michael Holley asking that question, I'm with Doug. And that, I think that's part, as you know, like part of the reporter's job is you always just have to be wary for something, a shoe to drop, something else to come up. The bigger piece of this, and then I'd love to pivot back to football, is if and whenever Diana shares her side of the story. And to me, I think that would be something probably closer to football season, assuming she gets back into some kind of media or opens up. But that to me, Doug, is the essence of it is more like nothing new has come out. The photos are just different variations of the same thing. So like it would take something that would take this in a new direction, I think, to resurface the story. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I think, either Vrabel would talk or Diana would talk or something like that would happen. Because, like I said, like everything that's come out, it feels like has already come out. Like we're not getting new pictures every day now. We're not getting new pictures every week at this point. So it does feel like, it would probably have to be some sort of interview or something. And I don't even know if that's going to happen. Like I have no idea whatsoever. So I think people are expecting that to happen. I just don't know.
Kayshon Boutte. Where is he playing week 1?
Ooh, I mean, I still lean towards no trade is more likely than a trade with any player around any team in any situation. So I would say on the Patriots, just because he hasn't been traded yet, there's been 2 straight off seasons of him being in trade rumors. And some of the latest trade compensation rumors that I've seen for him, I forgot where they were coming from, but I feel like it's been like 5th, 6th round picks. I'd rather just keep Kayshon Boutte than trade him for a 5th or 6th round pick at this point, because I do think he's your best option as a number 3 wide receiver. There's not that big of a drop-off between, let's say, him or Mac Hollins. I do think there's a drop-off between Kayshon Boutte and Kyle Williams. So if I'm the Patriots, I just keep them all, and then at the end of the summer decide between Demario Douglas, Efton Chisholm, whoever else for that number 6 wide receiver role.
But who would want a trade more? Would it be Kayshon Boutte or would it be the Patriots?
I would think Kayshon Boutte, just because he probably thinks he's worthy of a contract extension at this point. I think he sees the writing on the wall that Romeo Doubs and A.J. Brown are going to be receiving more targets than him, just based on what they paid for them, what they've given up for them. And if you're Boutte, and now it has been the 2nd straight off season, when you're involved in trade rumors, I think you start to think like, do these guys really want me? Do they really want me around? Or am I better off starting my career elsewhere where I can sign a contract extension? So I would think Boutte.
I'm looking forward to minicamp tomorrow for a lot of reasons. Number one, everyone has to participate. B, it's competitive. C, this is when we typically get our first peek at guys who are going to pop. I remember very distinctly, and partly because he got first-team reps, so this wasn't me digging in or seeing things other people weren't. But K'Lavon Chaisson first really popped at minicamp last year. Is there anyone you're anticipating that could surprise starting tomorrow when we're back down in Foxborough?
One of them is their 5th-round pick, Karan Prunty, the cornerback. He's made some decent plays in OTAs, and he won't get the same number of opportunities because Carlton Davis will probably do that. Christian Gonzalez could come back. Marcus Jones. So he's not going to be getting those first-team reps that he was getting during OTAs, but would not be surprised to see him on that second-team unit, potentially making some plays. And just as far as edge defenders go, Elijah Ponder's another one who could start popping off a little bit more just because of opportunities. Once again, I don't know what Harold Landry's status is going to be for minicamp, and then Gabe Akis hasn't been participating in OTAs. That seems like it's probably more injury related than anything else. So could see Elijah Ponder start to take a little bit more of a leap here. But yeah, I'm excited for it too, because there have been quite a few guys missing for OTAs, and those are the ones I'm most excited to see for minicamp.
When you look at this team, Doug, and we know what they did last year, we've talked about the schedule a lot. I'm not going to ask you any schedule questions, soft or difficult, but just when you look at the team and you say to yourself, all right, this is what they really need, and I want to see if they've addressed it. Like, what is that area of the team where you say, oh, I thought they were lacking last year and they need to be better? What's that? Where do you target?
It's the offensive line for me, especially at the end there in the playoff run. Obviously, they were able to make it through the AFC with a weak offensive line, but couldn't get anything going against the Seahawks. So for that to happen, Will Campbell definitely has to take a second-year leap. He seemed confident when we talked to him last week that he could do that. He said, yeah, I'm only 22 years old, still have the best football in front of me. They've made a major upgrade at left guard with Elijah Vera Tucker. Key there is for him to stay healthy because he missed all of last season. He's missed a ton of time during his career, so he has to stay healthy. Jared Wilson has to be the player that we all expected him to be at center coming out of the draft, which I think he has a much better chance of doing at center than he did at left guard last year. I think he was put in a tough position, switching positions coming out of Georgia. I think he's a much better built for center. And then Michael Wenu and Morgan Moses have to hold up. And if Moses doesn't, then you've got Caleb Lomu, which I think was a good draft pick, given the fact that no one expected Morgan Moses to play all 20 games last season. And then Owenu obviously wanted to stick around, took a pay cut, got some guaranteed money, and he was probably their best offensive lineman last year. So I'm the least worried about Mike Owenu.
Sticking with Lomu for a second, I think for me, when we're in minicamp and training camp, the thing that I hold on to closest is really depth chart movement, just because, especially in the spring and for the early part of training camp, they're not in pads. So it's really hard, as much as I'll chart the one-on-ones and we're looking at 11 on 11s, who allowed pressure, like those things are not necessarily what we'll eventually see on Sundays. What are you looking for? What's fair to assess on the Lomu front? Because, as you just said, it's pretty likely he'll at least sub in for Morgan Moses at right tackle at some point this season. If not, maybe take the starting job.
Yeah, I think ultimately we'll be looking at where he plays. It was a lot of right tackle during minicamp, though. Did take some backup reps at left tackle. Even got some first-team reps at right tackle during the OTAs practices. But yeah, OTAs is tough because it's not padded. So you don't want to see guys get beat by speed out there, which I wasn't seeing Lomu getting beat very often during OTAs. So we'll see if that remains true during minicamp. Speed is probably his biggest strength, athleticism in general. At some point, he might start getting beaten by power when the pads come on. But yeah, just want to see him be able to stick with his man, not get beat by speed, and just seeing where he's playing. Elliott Wolf said after he was drafted that he could even potentially move inside to guard. We haven't seen that. Did see James Hudson, one of the backup veteran offensive tackles, take some snaps at guard. Eventually, I might see what Lomu looks like at guard, just because the depth there is so shallow. You saw Andrew Rupsich taking starting reps at left guard during OTAs, and that's not a situation you want to get yourself into during the regular season.
Last one for me. Where did you have Drake May ranked this time last year in the NFL? All right, so he's 20th best quarterback, 15 wherever you had him. Where was he ranked last year, this time, and where do you have him ranked right now?
This time last year, I probably had him, I would say, around like 15 to 20, I think would have been fair. And now he's top 5. And
top 5?
Yeah, I haven't individually ranked every guy, but based on his experience, his youth, the fact that he was a MVP candidate last year, possibly should have been number 1, I think you've got to put him in the top 5. And I don't think that'll look bad after the season, given the improvements on the offensive line, given the improvements at wide receiver. There's guys who have been doing it for longer who you could make a case for, but I think it's a new era, and I have him top 5.
Need something spicy on the way out. Bold prediction, something that might have
he
come up
gave it to us
on the Pat's Chat podcast. Top 5 is fair. Look.
But see, I got him at 6. Okay, because
okay.
I'm saying because no, I'm just saying. But when you say top 5, you got to name the 5. You got to name the 5. So I still think the big 4. So I've got Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar Jackson. 5, I got Matthew Stafford, and then some people have Caleb Williams in there, but I'm going to still say that Drake May is 6.
I think I'd have him above Burrow of that list.
And Burrow and Mahomes, look, you need the injury piece to be answered first. An ACL is serious. The Mahomes stats, at least, have not been up to par with top 5, and I understand the accolades. I know the player, but I think you got to earn that back a little bit. If we're doing in the moment right now, June 8th.
Yeah, but I know that and I can't put him above Burrow, Doug, because I've seen even when Burrow has been there, he hasn't been in the playoffs in a while, but when he's there, he has played at a very high level in the playoffs. And Drake May, not that he's been bad, but it's been a little spotty, his playoff performance compared to Mahomes, who's been brilliant in the playoffs, and Josh Allen, who also has been last year he was bad, but for the most part, he's been great in the playoffs too.
I think I factor in the players that Burrow gets to throw to, though, as well. The fact that he's got Chase, the fact that he's got Higgins. And I was a huge Burrow fan, when he was able to take them to the Super Bowl. I just haven't seen him raise his game to the next level since then. I think he's stayed a little bit stagnant. I think injuries have played a huge part in that, though.
All right, Doug, we know you got to go. Look at your colleague, Andrew Callahan, about to ask you another question. And he's the one who said, hey, he's got a hard out at 8:40. He's got 22 questions.
I'm trying to be a good teammate.
22 more questions he's trying to ask you. Doug, we appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys.
All right, that's Doug Kide of the Boston Herald. Top 5. I think top 5 is not an outrageous comment, but I just feel like a lot of times when we say top 5, that's why I wanted to name it. When we say top 5, I'm like, okay, well, name them.
No, for sure. And look, when I'm going to backtrack. You're right. Because in the process of poo-pooing Mahomes, and not the player accolades, all that, just like the player right now, that would require me to say Drake May is a better quarterback right now than Patrick Mahomes. And saying that out loud in my head was bad enough. Doing it now on live radio in a way that it is gone forever and I can't retrieve that scares me. So you're right.
You mentioned the takeys earlier. Right? you mentioned that.
Early entries, baby.
You're trying to be a part of it.
Look,
can you say out loud that Drake May is a better quarterback than Josh Allen?
No, not yet.
Right.
Yeah, and the playoff point is the most salient one, right? You are who you are under the brightest lights against the toughest defenses, and we can all nitpick and do this. Like last season, he was my MVP.
Oh, he was
certainly deserved.
I thought he was going to get it. I thought he was going to win it.
But the idea of who you are as a player is not just about what you did last season. It's your whole career. What are you most likely to do against the toughest teams in the biggest spots? And his numbers just weren't there with the other guys that you listed. And that is to be expected for a 23-year-old.
Yeah, and you mentioned Burrow. So in the playoffs, and Mike Vrabel knows this better than most, there was a playoff game where Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times, and they won. He was sacked 9 times, so you could say, well, why is he holding the ball that long? No, it wasn't that. He had a terrible offensive line.
I mean, it's a little bit of both.
No, it was a terrible offensive line, and he took them all the way to the Super Bowl until they lost because he had a terrible offensive line, and once again, Aaron Donald showed up at a critical moment in the game. But at some point, you've got to be able to – and I mentioned Burrow on the offensive line because last year – that's what Drake May was dealing with. The left side of the offensive line, for whatever reason, whether it was inexperience, injuries, combination of both, really limited what the Patriots could do and what Drake May could do. But despite that bad offensive line, he also made some bad plays, letting go of the football, just the turnovers, that he really struggled. And so even when you got a bad offensive line, you got to figure out a way to get by. Hey, he got to the Super Bowl, so that's the good part of it. Statistically, it was just okay.
Is May better than Burrow by the end of the season?
You know what? There you go. I think out of all the top 5 guys, I'd say Burrow is the most vulnerable. He's the most vulnerable. So where
I asked.
Where do I get my opening? No, I'm saying, but that would say yes. I'd say yes.
Okay.
Because that's the open. If he's the most vulnerable, there's your opening.
I mean, you could be vulnerable and not lose your spot, though.
Yeah, but it's.
Come on, you know what you did.
Yeah. You know what I'm doing. Look at this. It's time for a break. I'm buying time. More Toucher and Hardy coming up next.
Sports Hub headline.
Caddy Classic in Canton at the Brook Meadow Country Club, and we will hear from a special guest. 10 or 15 minutes. We have no idea who this special guest is, but it's a Who's Your Caddy insider, Callahan. It's somebody with incredible information.
I have so many questions. I need to start writing them all down.
Good.
We got to go rapid fire. We also need to pitch our draft to this guest.
So tell me who your draft is. And we were doing a draft of not just, hey, who if you're trying to win a golf tournament, but if you're trying to win a all sports tournament, you're a media sports person, and you're trying to win the media sports person tournament, who do you have? And you're 4, who do you have on your
First
team?
of all, I have to get this out there. You outsourced your first pick. You need to be reminded of your roster. I wouldn't.
I would say I was gracious that I listened to, this is like on a job interview. I work well with others. I collaborate. It's not all about me. It's all about the team. It's all about synergy.
Not since Rick Pitino have I seen general managing around these parts quite like this. But look, this will be up to our mystery guest, to see whether my team of Phil Perry, Mark Dondero.
Phil Perry was your first pick.
Yep. Felger and David Andrews.
So I don't like the chemistry. I just thought about it.
Really?
I don't like the chemistry of the team. You have Phil Perry, Dondero, Felger. Let's just start right. Okay, that's not going to work. And then who's the fourth?
David Andrews.
All right, no.
Hold on.
They don't. It's something. You got to trade one of those guys. You got to trade. You're like the Red Sox. You got too many lefties. Too many lefty outfielders. Like, trade one of them. You need a right-handed bat.
I hear a little redundancy in there. I think is also what you're highlighting.
A little bit.
But the David Andrews pick, is someone who's recently taken up golf, was a professional athlete, and big-bodied enforcer. That man says no.
Everybody needs an enforcer.
Okay? I think within the team, culture driver, setter, former captain.
Culture driver. That's nice.
Okay? That's
something you say too.
got.
That's something you say on the in the job interview too. Really, I understand your culture, and I want to enforce it, and I want to help shape it. I want to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. You know, all this
keeps teammates in line.
Yeah.
Look, that guy. They had some card games down at Gillette. Peacekeeper, David Andrews.
Tell me my team. Who's my team?
Okay. Don't tell him. Don't. Leave the fighting Michael Holly's out to dry.
We got Kevin Majori.
You gonna go full court press on us too?
Oh, we got Kevin Majori. We got I know Maz is on the team.
You have Hardy.
I have Hardy. And I have Zolak. No, I don't have Maz. I have McComb.
I gotta start writing this stuff down.
Thank you.
No, he does. It's his team.
I've got Majori. I've got McCone. I've got Zolak, and I've got Hardy. I like my team. I like my guys.
This is navel gazing, but you can't find your navel. With the 98.5 draft of fellow media members, and then it goes, "Where's my team? Where did it go?"
Because everybody's so good that I kind of lose track of it.
What do you think you're going to beat us at? Shuffleboard?
Golf.
Okay.
Let's start there.
Okay.
What we're talking about today.
I'm talking a lot of smack. If I end up losing, caddy? According to our
you're going to lose.
Guest.
You're going to. You said this is what you said. I'm going to quote you.
Okay.
You said as you were bragging to the media about your David Andrews pick. You said
the Gemelli Times
in the press conference. You said, who was recently taken up golf. You said recently taken it up.
I think I used the word addicted, so he's at least on a quick learning curve.
All right, so that helps.
Yeah, I think going on a year, basically since retirement.
Okay.
Taking lessons, and let's just say his lessons, probably a little bit more expensive than mine or yours.
Sure, but maybe he needs it. I mean, he spent his entire career in the trenches, and now he's going to come up out of the trenches and swing a golf club.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be great at it. And you drafted him. You overdrafted him. You know that.
Well, I underdrafted Felger, who fell down the board.
No, you thought that was a good good value pick.
Great value pick.
Great value pick. And you're getting what you expect to get from Felger besides some hot takes and some different way of looking at things. You expect to get
Just
some
chemistry,
high level
glue guy.
Well, he's not a glue guy. No, he's not. No, that's not what he is.
No. It's a golf for sure.
He does not call himself a glue guy.
No.
As a matter of
He's
fact,
not.
he's not going to talk to you guys. He's not going to. He's going to say, and if he does talk to you, say, "Hey, speed it up. Okay, don't waste my time. What's your point?" That's what he's going to do. But you drafted him for you think he has golf ability
for sure. Yeah, that's basically it.
Based on a recommendation you got from my draft pick.
If we play pickleball, he'll help there too.
So my draft pick, Hardy, tells you, hey, Felger, who you've never seen play, is better than I am. And maybe Hardy was, you never know with Hardy. Could have been, maybe he was being sarcastic. Maybe he was just in a really good mood that day. And
No, he's honest about his golf. This is as if you took Will Campbell.
Yep.
And the right tackle at LSU that year, who I'm blanking on, who I think went to the Lions 2 rounds later, Will said, no, you should draft the other guy. And then I got him. And then I have better value.
Okay.
And
you can't even remember the guy's name.
No, I can't. He was so good.
I can't remember the name of my.
All I remember is the
my
Lions
team.
wouldn't let me talk to him for my profile of Will last year. So we were doing that after the draft.
Is that right?
Well, this was a couple weeks after the draft. Rookies are getting settled. Lions PR was nice about it, but they're like, he's moving, going back and forth. We don't have him right now. I was like, okay.
He's moving? That was their answer was he's moving, going back and forth. We can't let him talk to you.
And he might not have spoken to the local media even at that point, or they had done one call. So they were kind of uncomfortable with the timing of someone from the outside getting to talk to him, which I get. Look, this story worked without him. I got to know people from Will's family, high school, college, all over the place. So it worked, but I need to find his name.
Yeah, you need to find that guy, that right tackle who was drafted a couple of rounds after Will Campbell. And the Lions PR would not let you talk to him, whoever this guy is. I hope he had a good year. They were trying to protect him. Or maybe, you never ever think about this? We always blame the PR people. That's easy for us to do. We blame the PR. That's what we do.
Oh, he's a guard, Miles Frazier.
All right, do you ever think that sometimes when the PR people say no, that it's not the PR people saying no, it's the athletes saying, maybe the guy was like, I can't stand Will Campbell. I don't want to do a story. I'm so glad that I'm no longer on that guy's team.
Yeah.
They talked about him incessantly in Baton Rouge. I'm so tired of Will Campbell. No, I'm not doing the interview.
Well, they were friends.
According to who?
You know what?
According to Campbell.
According to other people that I talked to down there. Look, I don't want to get this to be lost or misconstrued into reporting of Will Campbell didn't have friends at LSU and the friends didn't talk to Callahan, and that's according to the Boston Herald, and if so, it's according to Doug Codd.
Yeah,
no,
right.
Look, no, you're right though. I mean, the easy analogy is just to think in your workplace, if someone was covering, where you work in the office, and they're like,
right.
oh, we're talking to the guy who just got promoted. Can we talk to you? And you're like, yeah, he was a real a-hole, but he was close with the guy above me, so he got the promotion, I didn't. What are you going to say? Like, sorry, I can't do the interview, thanks.
Yeah.
I get it.
Hey, this guy got promoted. What do you want to say? Interesting promotion. Interesting choice.
Do you think that will affect when we talk this mystery
special guest?
Yeah. Or do you think, well, we'll have to find out if they'll be objective about this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder if the mystery guest is somebody that you've drafted or I've drafted, or maybe somebody, when we talk to this guest, we're like, oh my, wow, we forgot about him. We forgot about them. Because I can't necessarily assume it's a man.
Sure.
I don't know. But we'll find out this mystery guest coming up next on Toucher and Hardy.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Felger here for Cambridge Savings Bank.
the center of the universe today, as far as 98.5 is concerned, because that is where the Who's Your Caddy Classic is taking place. It is at Brook Meadow Country Club in Canton. And we have told you that we have some mystery guest. Well, the mystery guest really wants to be a mystery, because Ryan was telling me, hey, we're trying to get this mystery guest, and we cannot locate the mystery guest. The mystery guest is sometimes wants to pick up the phone, or sometimes, does and doesn't. And should I go on the air? Should I not? So the mystery is really playing out here.
This could not be more on brand for the show. I
Yeah.
think this is perfect. Our Toucher and Hardy insider inside the Who's Your Caddy Classic. All money going to the Special Olympics, Massachusetts. Great event.
Yep.
Very
Awesome
excited
event.
to hear about the guys.
Awesome.
We don't want to hear about the charity, though. You and I are here for the gossip, and I want to hand out some superlatives for best dress to, longest drive to, best. We've been talking a lot about glue guys and chemistry with these foursomes. Like, I don't know. Is there any rivalry down there? Like, all these things I would love to know, boots on the ground.
Well, there's a rivalry there because I'm sure there's station rivalries. We have station rivalries, right? Is there rivalry within the station? So like some, not to the dysfunctional point. Well, maybe it is dysfunctional, but I'm sure like every workplace has rivalries, right?
Yeah, well, I want to just hear an update from the course, see how that plays out. And, of course, we need a verdict from this mystery guest who, might not be qualified to determine our 98.5 The Sports Hub draft. What would you do if you were down there when you don't play? Like, would you just jump in anyway, take some celebrity shots? You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't. I think that's nobody wants that. I think what I would do is because I love to do. It's just going to shock you. I love to talk, so I would just go down there. I would just talk to different people. I would I'd ride around. I'd be the driver. I'd drive the cart.
I like that.
That's cool. Get some food, get some drinks.
If Rick said we need you to be the cart boy, the cart man,
yes,
you would hand out drinks.
And I wouldn't even be offended if he said cart boy. I mean, it's just all context.
Did you hear the hesitation in my voice? I didn't want to do that to you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, it's all context. It's all context.
Context is key.
And context is big.
I mean, the first thought was cart girl. And I was like, we're going to take that off the table. But now we're down to two
I don't want to be
options.
the cart girl. I'll talk to the cart girl, but I don't want to be the cart girl.
Sure.
Okay. Cart boy, sure. Cart man's too serious. Cart man's too serious. If you're the cart man, you're like, hello, sir.
That's a doorman.
Yeah. Hello,
it's not
sir.
door boy.
Yeah. It's doorman. And it's very serious. Do you really joke? You ever joke with the doorman? Do you joke with the cart man?
But you don't joke with the bus boy.
It's too bad because sometimes you don't even acknowledge the bus boy.
That's tough.
Sometimes the bus boy probably feels like, I feel like I'm not seen. No one sees me. No one hears me. I'm doing this job. And it's that, you ever work in a restaurant, by the way?
No.
Okay, me either. But this is where I'm going. I didn't understand until fairly recently that the whole operation, like when you give the tip, you're tipping the waiter, you're tipping the waitress, you're tipping this person, but it's generally, that's how I always think of it. Hey, give 20, if you really like it, 22, 25, 27%. But then they turn around and they hook other people up. I never really thought about that aspect of it. I always think, see, that's what I'm saying. We ignore the bus people. The bus people sometimes get their tips, if I'm not mistaken, from the.
I think it probably depends on the restaurant.
From the
sometimes
staff.
they pool it, but
Well,
also
now-
and depends on the waiter or waitress, right? Like if maybe they hoard their tips. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be somebody you drafted.
Probably.
You would draft somebody like that who's not collaborative, somebody who's not really thinking about what it means to the team.
Felger.
Well, you drafted him.
I did. Third round value, though.
Yeah, third round. Yeah, I guess. But I guess he's tradable, too, because I feel like you need to make a trade on your team.
Well, yeah, I need to offload
balance
the salary.
Yeah, it's not even a salary thing. It's just something is just not gelling
No,
with
there's
your
just
team.
a lot of similar energy with him and Dondero. That's going to be a lot for filling David to keep their arms around if it's not going in the right direction. But I'm counting on those guys being the best golfers on my team. Let me ask you this, though, the restaurant point. How would you, Michael Holley, have survived in a restaurant setting? Like, would you have been a good waiter back in the day?
Oh, my God. Yes. Here's the problem. I would have been called to the office or called to the kitchen or wherever, and they would have said, you're talking too much.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking too much to the our people, and you're not getting enough done. You're not being efficient enough because you keep talking to them. We want you to get the orders in. Hey, where are you guys from?
Right.
Oh, is that right? That's the first time? Okay, all right. Hey, what's your name? Getting names, just talking to people, and just kind of, I think I would probably slow down the operation a little bit.
See, I would really need to do my work on the front end with that stuff because I know I would forget one small thing here or there. And then I'm going to need the goodwill that I banked early to make up for, oh, I'm so sorry, I was going to get you that basket of bread earlier.
Okay. Oh, see, this is a good point. Now, are you this guy? Because I'm always, I start off being impressed. No, I start off being skeptical. Then I'm impressed with the people who come up to you. So you got a table, you and 5 others. Hey, what will you have? You tell them what you have. Okay, and you give them very detailed instructions. Okay, I don't want the dressing on the salad. I want this off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I know this steak comes with this side, but I want to sub that out for this, and they're not writing it down. Right? And they go to everybody, and they haven't written it down. I'm skeptical at first, like, oh, my God. They're about to screw this thing up. And then when they come back and it's right, I'm impressed.
And that's what makes me think I could never do that. Now, that comes with reps, and I'm sure there's a memory association thing, right? Like, okay, he doesn't want salad. He doesn't want lettuce. He's bald, so the no lettuce man doesn't want lettuce. You know what I mean? Like, just who ordered what and why. That memory association probably makes it easier if you're not writing it down.
Yeah, but see, that's
or they're
the problem.
just better at this. Because my memory, like, I'd be good with the speed
I'd write
of
it down.
I'd be good. And you know what buys you a lot of equity right
I'd
away?
have to write it down.
Is you're honest about the menu. Where they're like, oh, what's good here? And you're like, the fish and chips are okay. Like, just okay. But this is great. You know what I mean? When you're willing to be honest about certain things, or everything's not so hunky-dory. Little informality sprinkled in there. Okay, I can trust
That's
you.
true. Yeah, everything can't be great on the menu.
Yeah.
Now, you don't want to be so honest.
that you get fired. You see the hostess you passed on the way in?
Hey, before
couple drinks in her, and she is a mess.
You guys
what did you want to drink?
Hey, you guys have looked at the menu, right? Let me tell you about some specials. Now,
down the street, yeah.
This one, right? This one is $45, and I got to tell you, it's overpriced. Oh, I wouldn't get it. But okay, if you're really hungry, if you're really adventurous, maybe give it a stab.
How true is that, though, generally, when it could be a mechanic, it could be a waitress, it could be anybody who, like, on the front end is just going to tell you, this isn't really worth it. I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, just some immediate empathy and understanding before you're the salesman or the waiter, and I'm the person here coming to give you some money and receive some sort of service. Like, you're going to go buy something yourself for somebody else at some point, and you want them to be honest with you.
Yeah.
As the person doing the serving or the waiting or this, whatever it might be, fixing the car. So as soon as you come in and are like, yeah, we could probably knock this down. This probably makes more sense for you. And it's not the most expensive thing. I feel like that's the first step to actually doing the selling is the honesty.
Absolutely. The honesty. And then, you know what? It's also, I need somebody who has done it. All right. So you don't necessarily, I'm not saying because you work in a restaurant, you have to know how to cook. You have to be a little bit of a foodie for me. Don't work in a restaurant and you don't really eat there. You just work there, but you eat other places. No, I want you to know the menu because you've eaten this stuff. So there's some stuff that you really like.
Yeah.
Hey, this is my favorite thing on the menu. Every time I get this one, and I get it, and a lot of people get this. Hey, mac and cheese, not my favorite, but if you're really into it, but it has this kind of feel to it or this kind of taste to it.
I'm not a mac and cheese person, but other people really like it. So you're not dismissing it. You're kind of eating the blame for why you're not making the wholehearted endorsement. And actually, I take this back. My first job out of college, 3 months, may or may not have been under the table at a rare hybrid Again, may or may not.
May not. Okay, may not. Or maybe. Was.
Indian restaurant that served wings.
Don't worry about it.
So
You're protected.
I was writing for free and just would walk home with like a wad of cash. But during the daytime before doing deliveries, there was a buffet. So like there's no selling needed. You're there. You're literally walking in, seeing what you're going to order. But I had never had Indian food before. The wings were actually pretty good and then would go back. But it was interesting because then you're doing a little bit of everything except for the actual waiting. So like when you first said, hey, did you work in a restaurant? Like, oh no, I wasn't busy in the kitchen and dealing with, guys who would just leave at a smoke break in the middle of service or something. I was just like delivering food, cleaning a buffet, mopping floors, and occasionally working the cash register.
And I did work at a restaurant, but I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I just remembered. You brought it up and I remembered. It was I think it was my freshman year, college. I worked at a Pizza Hut Express. So it's not like it wasn't a hey, can I take your order? Sit down. It wasn't a sit-down place. It was a Pizza Hut Express on Wood Street in Pittsburgh. So I was working work the cashier, and I had pizza, and every night I'd bring home Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good experience. But I think that's better. I got no tips. It was not a tip place. There probably should have been. Because you ever get in those situations where you go, this person is really good.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no tip anything, no tip cup. I'm going to do something. But now they kind of beat you up over it. This was years ago when now they will just, nobody's even doing anything. They're like, okay, you just try to pay. I'm like, oh, we're going to ask you some questions before you pay. And the question is, what are you going to tip? Tipping for what? Why am I tipping?
Or how about this? If you are in a restaurant or a group that's 6 or larger, whatever, where gratuity is included, is it on the waiter or waitress to tell you, hey, by the way, gratuity is included before you get the final bill? Or should you know better because you're a human being, an adult who can just read a menu?
Yeah, I don't think it's on the waitress to tell you that.
But if you realize too late that you had double tipped, you're driving home, and you're like,
but how could that happen?
I'm telling you, it does.
Has that ever happened to you? Where
yeah, I wasn't overly upset about it, but I was like, you know what, it would have been nice to know. Because if say, like 20% standard tip for me, if not more. And so if that is automatically included, I don't have to do the math or add on anything more.
Yeah, but I just can't imagine. I'm just so meticulous when it comes to like signing.
Well, you gotta come to dinner with me more often.
When it comes to signing, I'm like, I'm looking at everything. First of all, because I told you the skepticism, and you mentioned it earlier. As a reporter, you have to have a healthy degree of skepticism. That's part of the job. That's part of your mentality. It's an annoying thing.
How about it's just your money? So you're right to do that in the first place.
But you're overly skeptical. You're looking at, you're just paying attention to the details. So I'm looking at them like, okay, so yeah, I did get that. Yeah, I did get that. Ooh, damn. We got 3 drinks? Man, those drinks are expensive. You're like, oh yeah, you want another one? Sure, I'll take another one. And then you look at the bill and you're like, man, those are like 16 a piece. So I just don't think that would happen to me. But I'll tell you, like, this is the greatest tip story, not necessarily a story, but tipping example I've ever seen, I've ever experienced. Bill Cowher, former Steelers coach, current CBS analyst. Cowher was really moved by, as a lot of people were, when COVID happened and people were going out and still doing deliveries and all this stuff. He was really moved by that. He was really impressed by people who just go out there and were doing that job when a lot of people were skeptical or afraid to go out and wouldn't do it and just kind of sheltered in.
Absolutely.
So he got into this thing where he would tip excessively. So I went to dinner with him here in Boston. This is still during, this is right after the other, so we're getting on the other side of COVID. 100% tipper.
Wow.
100% tip on the meal. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being like the waiter that night and you're just like, hey, what if it's going to be a slow night here? And you wind up with a 100% tip?
I tell you, I mean, he's not the coach anymore, but I would be pulling for the Steelers after that. I will say
Yeah.
I can tell you this because my wife and I just celebrated 30-year anniversary. We were trying to figure
Congratulations.
out. Thank you. And she was pregnant last year. So we're like, what did we do? We didn't like go out. Like we actually did. Nice North End restaurant. And I'm going to get the name right and say it on the other end because I want to do this justice. But the waiter happened to listen to the podcast that I had. And so he very graciously took some items off of the menu. And so I was like, well, look, I'm not going to tip 20% of what the bill is left. So we'll just do the 100%. And felt really good about it. And it was very kind of him to do that. Didn't have to. Very small place. And I said we'd be back. And I still have yet to fulfill that promise, but I can't wait to return because the service was outstanding.
He said,
this is what happens when my wife is pregnant, can't drink, and then I'm left with a bottle of wine, and we just have to, someone has to celebrate.
We told him we'll be back, and we haven't come back. He'd probably be thinking, this guy's not coming back. Come on, you got to go back, please.
I would love to go back. We just have a little bit further trip since we moved.
I know, but make a reservation. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Come on. You just had your anniversary. You had a reason to celebrate anyway.
Do we have a secret guest?
No, the secret guest is, you know what, we're being, and you have experience of this, of covering one of the toughest teams in sports to cover, the New England Patriots. Somebody said they were going to do an interview with you, and then they blew you off.
Tony and Elaine's. Outstanding. Go. It's in the North End. Next time you're at the Garden, concert, game, whatever it was. We had an outstanding time, terrific service. It's right there on the outside of the North End.
But yeah, you've been blown off by an athlete before, right?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Okay, so we were blown off by some mystery guest.
Wow.
But we'll see if we can get him on the other side. This is Toucher and Hardy, and we still got some good stuff here. We got the email bit. Hey, I know what we should do. I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. That's my intro. I love that one. And the stack. It's coming up next on 98.5 Sports Hub.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
You know it's coming. Don't wait. Fix it. Call Mosquito Mike. Locally owned, serving Massachusetts and Rhode Island with reliable mosquito and tick.
You know, like you get PR emails all the time, and
all
people
the
are
time.
pitching like, "Oh, do you want to interview so and so who's like working with Doritos?" And here was like that was a very long initial email, and I have his prisoner number. The follow up was just simply, "Andrew, would you like to chat warmly?" And then the man's name, warmly.
This is interesting. So
what do I do with this?
Yes, you want to chat. Come on, you got to do it. You got to do it. Yes, you want to chat.
We'll call him up and we'll have him judge our 98.5 Sports Up.
Was there a
teams?
Was there a compelling case made for why he didn't do it?
Yes, but I can't verify, to go back to the journalistic integrity,
all this information
being true. And it sounds like, reading on this, he's got parole eligibility beginning in a year and a half. 2.5 years.
All right, 2.5 years. Yeah, you're right. That is a Hall of Fame submission. And aren't you tempted? Don't you want to chat for a little bit? No, you're too busy. Come on, right now, 7 months?
So I was playing this out in my head when he followed up, and I'm like just trying to get through the morning feeding my 7-month-old mashed up bananas and peanut butter to see if she'll like take solid food.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot right now.
It is a lot. But like, what if someone asked you to help get their freedom? Right? What possible answer or excuse could be? No, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
No,
but it's a combination of I'm not equipped.
Right.
I just moved, just had a kid, been off work, going back to work. And like, this isn't my job, but I don't know how. So like, you can count on my platform, of which I just gave him a giant one. So maybe this is me doing him the solid. But again, this is an email that came to me. Pitch for Boston Herald. I'm serving a life sentence for a murder I didn't commit.
That is a hell of a nut graph right there. That is it. That gets your attention. See, I would see if somebody said, "Okay, I need you to help me get my freedom." I would say, "Well, first of all, you got the wrong approach. I'm not going to help you get your freedom. I can listen and kind of consider all the information, but you can't say that I'm your key to freedom. I can't. Yeah, that's just too much pressure. And I have to go. And if they think, I'm not saying your writer is saying this, but if they think that you will take all the information, some reporters will, the bad ones. Some reporters will take all the information that they've been given and then go right to air and say, yes, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this guy is being railroaded. Well, you got to confirm all that stuff. You got to check it to see if it's actually true. Now, that's a hell of an email. I got an email the other day that pales in comparison to that one. And we talked to Gary Washburn about this a bit. And he gave his take on it, and I guess I haven't even asked you yours, because the emailer was responding to this argument I had with Michael Felger, back to Felger, your teammate, your draft choice.
He's my subordinate in this case.
Oh, that's right. He works for you. He works for you. So Felger, as many of you know, is caught up in how the Celtics take too many threes. We know it. A lot of you agree with him. Right, fine. They take a bunch of threes. They do. It's annoying to watch, especially when the threes aren't going in. So that's one conversation. I think that he is kind of conflating that with, hey, they've got a better roster than the Knicks. And I told him they don't have a better roster than the Knicks. So the two things can be true. Like, they can kind of restrain their three-point attempts. And they could play better. They could be more efficient. But you can't look at a team that's won now 13 playoff games in a row that beat the Celtics last year when they had a better roster and beat them in 6 games, and then look at it and say, well, if the Celtics play better, well, they have a better roster than the Knicks. So we just went back and forth debating.
This was right after I left on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. We were going at it. I'm saying, how can you say? I just don't see how you can. Well, you'd rather have Jason Tate so you think Jalen Brunson's better than Jason? I didn't say that. Oh, so Jalen Brown's not that good? I didn't say that. I'm saying their roster, the Knicks roster, is better than the Celtics roster, and I think it's not even debatable at this point. It is.
No, it's not. Like, Derek White lost his 3-point shot this year, And he would be your answer to who is the Celtics' third best player. When you're answering that for the Knicks, it's either Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby. You could pick one or the other over Derek White or not, but the answer of who's the Celtics' fourth best player and who's the Knicks
Pritchard
is OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges way better than Peyton Pritchard.
You said way better?
Yeah, appreciably better.
I might give you better. I wouldn't say way better.
So if all the top three are similar enough, and then 4 through 8 are overwhelmingly for New York, which they are, as much as you might like Hugo Gonzalez, okay? Baylor Shireman made a big leap, but like there's just no serious basketball person that looks at the talent for the Knicks and the Celtics and doesn't think New York doesn't have more talent. We were getting to the point about just raw talent, ability.
Yeah.
At the end of the Sixers series with a healthy Embiid, which is the biggest literal if in basketball, him, Maxey, Edgecombe, and Paul George, they were pushing the Celtics talent gap. It was part of the Celtics strategy that maximized the talent that they did have available,
right?
Which was the three-pointers. It was not turning the ball over, and it was crashing the boards from the corners to get extra possessions and then maximize those by taking additional threes. And like some of that was curbed because Keita is not a three-point shooter, so you're having 20% fewer people on the floor who can shoot, which wasn't the case when Horford or Porzingis was your center.
Yeah, all those guys. But those guys who can pop it.
The way that they had such a clean game, and what Philly did was take away the offensive boards or match you in that regard, and then you were hitting threes. But talent-wise, it's not. I mean, it's close, but it's really not between the Knicks and Celtics right now.
You know what? I wish I had thought of this in the moment. You know, you get into these debates, and we all do it on the various shows that we do. And then when you go home or you're driving like, oh, wait a minute. You know, I should have said that. I should have said that. The irony here, because Felger is driven, he is fueled by the green teamer stuff. Oh, you green teamers. And where was all this? Why didn't you say this in March? The irony of his comment is that it is the ultimate green teamer comment, that the Celtics are better. That is a green teamer comment. That is, I love the Celtics so much, I'm not going to give the Knicks. Now, he's not coming from this perspective, but you can interpret it this way. I love the Celtics so much, I'm not going to give the Knicks credit. I don't care that they've won 13 games in a row. I don't care that they're up 2-0 on the San Antonio Spurs from the so-called superior conference. The Celtics still have the better roster. It's that damn coach. That's some green teamer-ish right there.
It's just not serious basketball analysis.
That is not. They are not.
It's not.
They're not. So it's interesting to look at it that way. I don't think they're a coach away. I don't think the Celtics are good coaching. Good coaching. They're not good coaching decisions away from being back in the NBA Finals, and I hope they don't look at it that way.
No, the other problem is conflating just shot selection with the entire style of play, right? Like, what is pick and roll defense? It's just completely off the board. Or anything about rebounding or how you share the basketball. Like, it's just that thing, you get into the minutia and then realize there's nothing there, and you're like, okay, there's not a whole lot of debate to be had here. But look, the thing that makes this most relevant to the Celtics is that the Knicks just unlocked a new ceiling. This is the maximized version of this team. If this sticks around, even in the same neighborhood, if 90% of what you're seeing from the Knicks now is what the Celtics have to run into next season, they have a problem. And they've got time and resources to figure this out and a cleaner cap sheet. I don't want to hear, like you, about a multi-year plan. But, again, they have 5 shooters. They've got a dynamic big, a playmaking hub. They've got good defenders everywhere. They were built originally to beat you, and now they surpassed you. What can they do, the Celtics, to now close the gap on a team that has a winning record against you the last 2 years?
And the funny thing is they've unlocked it. And you know what I haven't heard I haven't paid attention to every single New York podcast or broadcast.
Well, thank God.
But I don't think, tell me about it. But I don't think I've heard a lot of credit going to Mike Brown. So have they unlocked it because of Mike Brown? Not
so
necessarily.
Nationally, he's getting a lot of love.
Is he? Is he? Okay.
He also comes off as a coach, though, that everyone has his number.
Yeah.
And that's smart to a degree. But he's like a nice guy, but he just might not get back to you all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no, he is. No, interviewing-wise, he's great. Yeah, he is, and I think that's part of it too. Like he is very generous talking to reporters, but I'm not really sure. I know the coaching change. They made the coaching change, and I should be giving him more credit, Mike Brown. But it feels like something that's bigger than Mike Brown that's happening right now with the Knicks. it's just.
Can you put your finger on it?
Well, no, I can't. But maybe what it is the talent of these guys. Just they kind of figured it out together. And Karl Anthony Towns, as you pointed out earlier, Karl Anthony Towns is at the top of the list because Brunson was always a shot maker. Brunson was always a difficult cover and a bad defender. Mikal Bridges had a great series last year against the Celtics. And those 20-point comeback games and back-to-back comeback games, he was great. Defensively, he was great in the clincher in Game 6 in New York. So I think it's just all coming together. But Mike Brown is probably you've probably lost track of how many teams Mike Brown has coached. I might say this is like his fifth team. He coached Cleveland twice. He was a coach of the Cavaliers twice. He was a coach of the Lakers. He coached Kobe.
The Kings.
He coached the Kings. He's got.
How do the Kings feel watching Mike Brown on one sideline and De'Aaron Fox? Well, I'll say this though. Yeah. I said earlier in the show we didn't get to it, and that's fine. I wanted you to therapize me about liking this Knicks team, and I'm just going to say, I'm a little disgusted about how much Knicks love we've given in explaining the basketball so far here today in the show that I'm just going to go home with my self-loathing and accept it. I don't need to sift through any of these feelings more about this team, which I do like, and are a problem for the Celtics until they upgrade at center or build more depth, as Gary was talking about earlier in the show. But you know what? I'm leaving the shrink's office. I don't like how I feel about this, and I'm just going to sit with those feelings watching this Knicks team that is more likable than any New York team I've ever seen in my lifetime.
I'm a shrink who hasn't even helped you. I haven't even addressed. I haven't even
taking my money.
It. I'm just sitting there listening. I'm taking notes. I'm like, okay, see you next week.
You're drawing. It's what you're doing. You're doodling. Right. It's like opening up to you on
exactly.
the couch.
There's a triangle. Yeah. There's a square. There we go. Very good. Hey, we've got the stat coming up, and I guess the mystery guest has been located. We'll see if that guest shows up soon here on Toucher and Hardy.
Sports Hub headline.
I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
The Sports.
My buddy
With friends like these,
to climb up a tree.
you know.
We're the best friends you can be, my buddy and me.
Now, more of your best morning buddies, Toucher and Hardy, on the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
All right. Toucher and Hardy with Michael Holley and Andrew Callahan. It's a big day here at the station. It's the Who's Your Caddy Classic taking place at Brook Meadow Country Club in Canton. We got a lot of people to thank for this broadcast, for this event. Bernardi Auto Group, Catches Law Group, Penn Golf, FootJoy, Yale Appliance, Boston Red Sox, the Boston Bruins Foundation, the Celtics, the Bruins, the Patriots, Golfers Warehouse, and, of course, Brook Meadow Country Club, where everything is taking place. Now, I say that because we've been talking about this special guest who kind of blew us off around 9 o'clock, but I think we have located this special guest. I don't know who it is. Special guest, reveal yourself. You're on the air. Who are you?
Michael Holley, it's Rob Hardy Pool, and I'm riding alongside Georgetown University golf star C.J. Winchenbaugh, who is pretty much 4 under on his own ball through 4 holes. So that's the report from the Who's Your Caddy Classic. Thanks for calling. No, you called me.
You wait a minute. First of all, not only did I call you, I drafted you. We had a draft team. We had a team of foursomes. We're coming up with our foursomes for golf and other sports. You were my number 2 draft pick, and Hardy. I told Andrew there were some political reasons for drafting you too. I mean, we like doing the show. You guys do pay.
Oh.
You do pay. So I mean, like, come on. I got to draft either you or Fred. So come on, it makes a lot of sense.
I appreciate it. I'm going to have to get more details on what being drafted to do, but I would question being drafted second in pretty much any draft ever. So I question your. I don't know. Maybe you had to miss an important day of the draft and you weren't fully prepared.
Day 3, but it's not that important. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Day 3 is not that important.
Holly also forgot that you were on his team briefly, along with the rest of the roster.
Oh,
so this is a really no pressure Olympiad,
nice.
Hardy.
That's nice.
Some have compared him to Rick Pitino, the GM, but look, we had, I'll see if you can name this quickly, a Sports Hub name who fell down the board due to character concerns, but is a very good golfer, who I grabbed after you in the 3rd round based on some of your advice. You said, he's better golfer than me.
Let's see. Who? Fred, hold on a second. It's not Majori because he's got great character. Is it Felger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That took 10 seconds.
But Majori's on our team based on the recommendation of Ryan. Ryan says take Majori. He's the best golfer at the station, so I took him.
He's a stick. And Felger's very pissed at us right now because the young man who got the spot in our foursome due to the very charitable donation to Special Olympics.
CJ
is CJ. He's an absolute stick. I mean, we're trying to put one in play for him, but he's doing it all himself.
I love it. Andrew has one question for you. I'm going to take his question. Who's the best dressed golfer down there? That's 1, and then 2. Has anybody brought a cooler onto the course?
I haven't seen enough of the outfits to know I can tell you who it is not, and that's John Wallach. And speaking of coolers and John Wallach, no, I did not see any coolers.
All right, we'll keep us posted.
All right, guys, thanks.
Hey,
thanks,
thank
buddy.
you. Good stuff down there. Good stuff. So this is a big day for the station. The Who's Your Caddy Classic, and we finally located our special guest, and it was my number 2 draft pick, Rob Hardy Pool. All right, so Callahan, good working with you.
This is fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. And we never even got to our ridiculous Boston nicknames, one of which was...
the City of Neighborhoods?
City of but that wasn't even the other one was the City of Notions?
City of Notions.
City of Notions? I've never heard that before. But anyway, hey, good stuff. This is Toucher and Hardy. We've got Zolak and Bertrand coming up next. Those guys are down in Canton as well. So whoever is in after us is going to do a great job.